It's showtime.
Okay.
Welcome back. Is that loud? I Don't Drink Coffee podcast.
Hello.
LJ in the back. He's a weirdo. And we got my man, my awesome friend, longtime friend, the James Hardy.
Thank you for that great introduction.
Thank you for coming, man. For real.
It's
been a long time since I've even seen you.
I know.
I love you.
Everybody says that because it's true. I don't see anybody anymore. I live out in the woods, and
everybody says they love you too.
Sometimes
I can see that.
I don't blame them.
I don't see why anybody wouldn't love you.
I guess I'm a lovable guy. I don't know. Maybe a little bit.
So you are here, finally.
Finally.
Yeah.
I drove out of the woods and come into the city again. So.
As much of a city as it is.
Yeah, it's city to me.
It's a great city.
Yeah.
I guess.
I'm a hillbilly now. I live
sometimes.
way out there, so.
You do live way out there. You think you're going to move again? Or
no, I'm staying there.
You're staying there?
I love it out there.
Do you?
Yeah.
I don't blame you.
You guys moved up into the bigger town. I went down to where there's nothing.
Is there internet out there?
It. We just got it last month.
Yeah, no thank you.
So
I want out. I would like to get back out in the country, dude.
I would too, but there needs to be high-speed internet.
They're getting, my mom and dad have got fairly fast internet, and they live out.
Ours is good. We got it out of Clayton. It's not bad.
It's getting better, man. Wait till 5G rolls out, okay? When you got worldwide internet.
I know.
That's
you
what
get
I'm
a lot
talking
of trouble with that.
Yeah, like a 1,000 download on your phone. It's coming. It's already here in some places.
I told you my wife got 5G the other day on her iPhone X, whatever it is.
It may say 5G, but did she do a speed test?
I don't know. She
just probably said 5GE, which is not 5G.
It just said 5G. She goes, hey, she was sitting there while we were driving through Okmulgee.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, hey, look at this. And sure enough, it was like,
I'll be
said
damned.
5G. I was like, damn.
That much faster?
Well, you got to run a speed test, and when they implement the real 5G, there is 5GE, and I'm not saying I don't know. But,
they've got a lot of infrastructure still, evidently, to do.
But it's coming. It is coming, and it's real fast.
The Internet of Things. I'm excited about it, dude. I
don't know if anybody ever notices, but my beard gets caught up in this mic a lot. Like, it just touches it, and I think to me, it's like it stick. I mean, anyways,
cut it off.
So with this 5G,
No way.
how much faster you're going to get your horse born? That's what I want to know.
That's
going to be the real litmus test here.
It's
very true.
I need it as soon as possible.
You
know what I mean? If we could get an algorithm that knows whenever I'm about to think about it,
yeah.
where I'm like, I didn't think about it. What a great idea. Yeah.
It is time.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
It is that time. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Then you're living in the modern age. You know what I'm saying? That's convenience right there.
Technology working for you.
I did need that. Yeah.
What an exciting time to be alive.
Yes,
Don't
sir.
get me started on technology, man, and we'll go off for forever.
Let's talk about James Hardy.
Yeah.
James.
Yes.
I thought you were going to say, you do a good job. You do a good job.
He was going there.
I thought about it, but
He
you
had that look in his eye.
You had the face even. I thought you were going for it. And I was like, oh, man.
You kind of messed me up, man. You messed me up.
Sorry, bro. You had
So
it
currently, where are you working?
Total Rehab.
What are you doing these days?
I'm a physical therapist assistant.
That's awesome.
At Total Rehab.
Yes.
That's a plug, though, isn't it?
Sure.
But
It's right down the road.
But you
here.
get to see James.
So if you're jacked up, come see us, and we'll try to unjack you up.
Did I call you James earlier? Because I've only called you James maybe 3 times in my whole life.
Well, now
and it was
technically, there's a story behind that for me.
Okay.
It's almost liberating.
Because we all call him Hardy.
Yeah.
Everybody calls him Hardy.
My
that
friends I've
knows
been
him.
friends with a long time call me that. When I went and moved to Buffalo Valley, it was like a fresh start for me. I wasn't the parts store guy anymore, which I'm really proud of. I want to just eliminate that from my life and forget that even happened, right? So to anybody I've met down there in the past 6-8 years, I'm James.
For real?
Yeah.
What's wrong with that, man?
I don't have a preference. My old friends can call me whatever they want to call me, but it's like a new beginning to me. I don't get stopped in any store down there and say, "How much is a starter for that '85 Chevrolet?" And I got or like somebody I don't even like that cussed me out last week or whatever, and he's like, "I got a problem. I'm not a mechanic. Leave me alone. I want to buy this gallon of milk and these eggs, and I want to go home to my hot wife. I don't want to talk to you because I don't like you." And I'm getting to the point now where I don't have any patience, and I'm starting to tell people I don't like them anymore. So I try to eliminate that if I can. So
So you're James.
You
down
call me
there,
Hardy if
BB.
you want. That's fine.
But what if it's what I've called you forever?
Yes.
Am I supposed to change?
So, no, don't change it a bit.
Anytime you say James, though, and you're talking about him,
It's only because I'm doing
always
that
think of
voice.
that story. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You do what you like.
Yeah.
I can't help it. I mean, I know plenty of people named James, and I never think about it.
So where did that story come from?
Okay, that's from Pizza Hut.
Okay.
One of my managers, probably shouldn't say his name.
Yeah, you should say his name.
You know what? I'm going to do it.
Okay.
Mr. Don Stites,
Yes.
the jack of all trades.
Yes.
Definitely.
He was
Absolutely.
He was the Easter Bunny and the Santa Claus when I was a kid.
Was he really?
You didn't know
He's
that?
literally done it all.
He was the Easter Bunny in Wilburton. Anytime that,
that doesn't
you went
surprise
somewhere
me.
and took
Who
pictures,
else are you going to get?
I don't know.
He
Yeah,
did great.
nobody.
One. Yeah, it seems that fits.
And I'm
Yeah.
like,
I'm not
man, I
surprised
know
by
that. I know that, because I guess he's originally from up north, maybe Minnesota or
I don't know.
He's not.
Wherever they make Don Stites is that's where he's from. Somewhere.
He's an awesome guy.
Yeah,
awesome
of
guy.
course.
I've always liked him. But when he would talk, he'd be Santa Claus and he would talk to me. I'm like, man, you sure do sound like Don Stites.
That unmistakable voice. Yeah. Oh my god.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Pizza Hut.
Pizza Hut. I'm a little punk kid, and I'm looking for something to do before I go home because I want to go home. And I go to Don. I said, Don, what do you need me to do, man? This is done. This is done. And he just turns around and looks at me, and he says, let me get this just right, if I can.
Please do.
He says, James, you do what you like because I know you do a good job. I'm thinking, if I'm going to go out there and throw some dishes out the back door or something, I'll do real good with that, or what do you want me to do?
Oh my god!
So I turned around and I left, and I did what I wanted. And that, you know what? Later on in life, I got to thinking about that. That's some of the best advice I ever had because here lately, the past few years, I've done exactly what I like.
Right.
It's worked out pretty good.
Yeah.
I gotta say.
That's a life lesson right there.
It is.
You do what you like.
I didn't know that in 1996 or whenever that was.
If
but
people don't know Don Stites, Google him. I'm sure he's probably on the internet somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
And
saying?
is he on Facebook?
I don't know. He's got to be somewhere.
I would think so.
I need to have
If not,
him.
I'm going to track him down.
We need to have him on.
I'll take a picture of him and put him
This
on there.
this is the only time I'm going to publicly do this. But Don Stites, please come on the show.
Yeah.
If you know Don Stites, tell him that we want him on the podcast.
Yep.
Please
Whatever
do.
it takes.
And I'm not kidding.
I'd
Whatever
listen
it
to that at least 3 or 4 times just to soak up all the information. That guy does everything. Literally, he's done everything.
I didn't know him as well as you did, of course. I mean, like I said, I've knew him as, Easter Bunny, and of course he wouldn't really talk when he was the Easter Bunny, but I knew who was in the, I knew whose lap I was
You
sitting
could
on.
see it. You could
Yeah.
see it, yeah.
Yeah.
And wasn't he? He was something at Robert's Cave at one time.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was. Yeah, he did that. Yeah.
Yeah, he worked out
Yeah,
there.
I would see him
He
out
was at
there.
the Chamber of Commerce too, because we'd be at school and he'd get a message during around recess time. This is Don Stites at the Chamber of Commerce. I don't know what he was talking about, but it was nice to hear Don Stites. I was like, I know that guy. He's a celebrity.
Dude, this is how it was at the parts store. I won't even give them a plug, but Hardy and I worked at a parts store for a long time
I remember
together.
when both of you worked there. I
Oh,
really
yeah.
honestly
Oh, yeah.
do.
And
I didn't go to you though.
And-
I
and
went.
when
I
the-
only went to Hardy whenever
right,
I did stuff.
right. But when this guy,
You got screwed anyway.
when
I was
this
like,
guy,
that's Duke's grandson. I ain't asking him nothing, man. He don't pay attention to nobody.
when this guy would start, when he told me the story the very first time, I'm the one, okay, that kept it going. All right, because he told the story. It was funny, but I don't think he would have. I mean, I made it a huge deal. Like I was like, dude, you need to do it again. Do it again. Like anytime somebody would come in, I'd be like, dude, Don Stites impression.
Big production. Yeah.
Next guy, some guy we didn't even know. Hey, Don Stites impression.
Yeah,
Do that, please.
It was a hidden
that
talent
for
I
me.
didn't know anything about till you told me
Dude,
about
it was awesome.
I didn't know it was
I've
a
been
talent.
waiting for this moment for you to do it, because I've heard him do it.
Was it
I wanted you to
underwhelming?
do it. No, it was awesome.
Oh,
It was
good.
everything I
Good.
thought it was.
It was
gonna be
great.
more.
All right. I'm good for something.
It was definitely awesome, dude. It
Great.
was-
And so, so then he would go around like just talking like him
Yeah.
all the time,
Yep.
and I was laughing the entire time. Like every time he would do it, I would just bust out laughing.
We had some good times there.
Yeah,
It sucked when you left.
This is one of those
They all
few
left
times.
me because I was a lifer almost. So everybody left me. It's like that scene. Was it Platoon? They're flying out in the helicopter and they're leaving the guy down in the hole. That was me.
Oh,
I'm just
man,
waving at you.
yeah.
All right. Stuck in the shithole, guys. All right. Y'all have fun with your lives. I'm
You guys
gonna be
go
here.
ahead. I'm going to stay here.
How long did you work that
Oh,
part?
I don't want to say. It's embarrassing.
No, it's not. I don't
Okay.
think so.
Well-
hey, honestly, I still kind of would love to go do a one-dayer. I would love to
not
the,
me.
to the same software that we had before, because I think it's different now.
Oh, I can't
But
tell now.
the
I
same
would love
software,
it.
computer.
I deal with that store that you guys worked in. I would love it. I would
Yeah.
probably pay your salaries for a day if you would just go look up parts for me. You know what I'm saying? Instead of the stuff that I get now. I called them today and they got mad at them.
Well, I had to justify when I tell you the actual years, because it was years, it was double digits. To justify that, I want to just tell you first the backstory that I was going to play music for a living, and this was going to fund that. So, but there's an awful lot cooler jobs to do that, I'm sure. So my story's not going to be as cool. I was there 14 years.
Yeah, but you got to think about this, dude. You think about how many people worked a job like that and then
Still
just
do.
worked a job like that. You know what I'm saying?
Forever.
And you're educated. You know, I mean, it's not like you did nothing with that. You know.
Well,
no, and you were having a great time while you were doing it.
at some points, I was absolutely having the greatest time. Yeah. When
And
you and
dude-
Trent worked there, it was some of the best times ever. Thomas Pate, we all had a great time.
Dude, it was
times.
Tony Gwynn.
Tony Gwynn, yeah.
Man, I love
Yeah.
that guy.
Oh, yeah. You
We-
want to talk about a pimp. That dude was the most smooth guy I ever met in my life.
Yes, that
Like,
guy. But,
some of the stuff he told me, the advice he told me to get women, like went way over my head. I'm like, I don't even know how to start to do that.
How did you guys get anything done with this group of people you just named off? I don't know how
know.
anything ever got done.
Tommy Pate, man, it was like I said. I want to go back and do it for one day, but I want all those guys to be there.
No, I'm down for that.
You know what I mean?
I'm totally down for that.
And Ryan Burge, I'm
Yep.
sure he never watches,
Burgie.
but I love that guy too. He
Tommy
was
Pate's a very funny person,
Yes.
dude. Very funny.
very
Yeah.
funny.
Great guy.
We
yeah.
had a great time. Oh, and Glenn Wilson, you know, he came over from Stigler.
Glenn was Korean, right?
Yes.
He's Korean. Had
Korean. That's how I say
yeah,
it.
he sounded just like us.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Redneck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Big time. So, you want to establish a timeline?
Well, I was just kind of curious because I have played music with James in the past, and there were times whenever I would see you a lot, and then there was like years here where I didn't really know
Flatline.
what you were
Yeah.
up to, and then next thing I know, like you're in the medical field, and I didn't know about that. So
I got a big boy job finally.
well, I mean that's coming for everybody. Me one of these days. I'm not really sure when I'm going to
Don't
find one
rush
of
it.
those, but
Don't rush it. Don't rush it.
I'm
at all.
glad to hear that. You know, I mean, I'm 42 now, and I've got time.
You
know.
got lots of time.
I wish you would quit saying your age on this podcast.
Why? Who cares?
I kind of care.
Why do you care? You think nobody's going to find out that you're almost 40 years old?
I'm not even close to 40.
I'm afraid you are, sir. And you look older than I do. So I mean,
Oh, my
you know
God.
what I'm saying?
He went there.
Just
You guys out there, let us know in the comments below who looks
you're
who
gonna
looks older.
regret, You're going to regret saying
I'm not
that.
in this, by the way. Don't.
You're gonna
There is
regret it
no
so
option
bad,
C
dude.
on this.
One time we were at a restaurant and he goes, who looks older? And of course she looks at the guy that's way older and looks way older, and she was like, him.
No, this
like
lady- this lady
helping
had no dog
She's trying
in
to
this
help.
fight.
She's trying to help him out by telling.
Yeah.
No,
There's
that's
no
not what happened at all.
dude. Not any time in your life.
The
have
look
you
on her
looked
face,
as
look
young
on
as
her
I
face
did.
was not like she was like I had trapped her.
Yeah.
You know how people
Right.
get that
Oh,
look
it was
like I don't know how to answer that. She immediately she goes, "Well, I think he's probably older," and I died
No,
laughing.
not at all. It's not how it went down.
Dude, come on.
Two
I
sides
laughed.
to everybody's story. Two
laughed
sides
so
to every
hard,
story.
dude.
So, anyways, you used to play with James.
Yes. You know, we played with Travis. Matter of
Yep.
fact, who
Yep.
was a guest on here the other day. So,
And didn't mention me once, and for good reason.
well, we never really got
For good
past,
reason.
Why is that?
No, we never got. I was, dude.
It's
I was
funny.
the one drummer story I did tell was absolutely true, and I got to thinking about it the other day, and I was like, "Oh, dude, I hope Hardy doesn't think I was like,
No,
trying to make
not
fun
a
of him on
bit.
some level or something like
No,
that," because that legit
Not a
really
bit.
happened.
I'm
That-
sure it did.
that thing-
I'm pretty sure that when I joined up with you guys for that, it was a very short time. I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I think it was after the rush, dude, because I remember that story, and I'm thinking that happened. I think before.
It was a very crazy time. Well, you know, the amount of time that he and I spent kind of locked into that thing or
Yeah.
whatever. There was anybody's going to get tired of jacking with it at some point, besides me and him for some stupid reason, you know.
Sure.
I guess it's kind of like what you were saying about whenever you're working at the parts place, you just like you just keep plugging it out. You're not really sure why, you know. You just keep on doing.
Yeah,
it.
but that's more of a labor of love. Music is.
Yeah.
You know? So
it definitely was.
And the thing is, one thing I'm sure you've learned over the years is if you can find somebody just not flaky and actually show up consistently, you're going to stick with that person just for that reason.
Well, I was extremely flaky, but I would just show up late, like I did today. You know what I'm saying?
I remember that.
That was my thing. I was always late.
He was very late today.
And we talked about STP a lot.
Yeah,
a lot.
Dude, and Travis hated it because he doesn't like that band.
I don't understand why.
I don't know why either. I don't know, but I do remember that you were obviously a very good, excellent musician.
Not bad.
I mean, excellent. No, really.
Thanks.
And, you know, it was a funny thing about, I don't even know why we didn't continue, why you didn't keep playing with us. I don't know what the deal was.
It's funny.
I mean, I don't want to bring up anything if it's bad.
No, it's not.
I really don't know.
It's never, listen, with Travis, it's never bad.
Yeah.
Because it's usually a mutual thing. And I'll give you a little bit of backstory. I was in my first band with him. Okay. Me and him, and I don't even think I had my driver's license yet. We're jamming at my mom and dad's garage. Me and him, Dustin Price played bass.
Dude, I remember hearing about this, yeah.
And then you remember, you went to school with Wes Kibbert, right? Were you in his grade?
No, he's younger than me.
Like 1 year probably?
Yeah.
Well, he was playing guitar, and we were kind of an odd couple, but at the time, we were like really the only musicians that were playing, I guess, at the time. So we're like, well, we just, you know, naturally we got to link up, we got to play. He played for a good little while. Travis's vision influence for music was always different from mine.
Yeah.
I liked heavier music, and he liked, you know, the grungier stuff at that time. Right. So, no, with me and him, it's never been like that. Like there's never been any hard feelings or anything. In fact, it's funny. I guess, you know, he's been on and off with Ryan Brinley for so long.
Sure.
Right? And I don't know if Ryan would get mad and quit the band, or he you know, they just didn't play any while. So I would usually get the phone call at that point. You know, that one of the times we played together, that's when I got a phone call. But, you know, when I talked to Travis, like, okay, but you kind of know what you're getting into, right? He's like, yeah, you can pump the brakes a little, right? Like, I can, yeah. Let's see if we can get going, you know. And his music always evolved, you know. So
yeah, definitely.
At first it was pretty angry music. So styles didn't clash too much. As it went on, you know, it wasn't like it was very different, you know, but he just had a different vision. I could be a bit much. It was mainly on my part. I could be a bit much for what he wanted to do. So when someone else came around that was maybe could back off a little more than I would, you know, I'd kind of be like, that's cool, you know.
Well, I definitely the style changed from when I came into the band too. Not really quick, but pretty quickly after I was in there too. Like you said, it was kind of I guess you could call it an evolution. I don't really know.
Sure.
I mean, he would move in different directions, and I was always kind of just there. I just loved playing music, so I didn't care what it was.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, we're slowing her down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I would go all the way into country if we had to. I didn't care. I just liked to play music. So
yeah.
And that's what I say about a lot of the stuff that would come and go or go on. It was kind of like, I don't know, man, we would just be talking about it and then something would be different. You know? I mean, I wasn't privy to all the goings on. I was like that guy that just doesn't go away. You know what I'm saying? I just kept showing up. He's like,
hey,
well,
man, it's persistence.
Practice Tuesday. And I'd be like, what time? 2:00 p.m. All right, cool. I'll see you at 4. You know, I mean,
y'all get warmed up for 2 hours and you'll be good and warmed up by the time I show up.
Yeah, by the time you'll be good and pissed off.
Yeah,
you know, by the time I get there.
But no, I always wanted to play heavy metal. I just always did. But I was, of course, open to playing other styles. That was fun to me too. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I could be a bit much, you know. So at least for that type.
You know, we had what's his? Oh my gosh, dude! I'm saying because I can't think of his freaking name. Another guy that was kind of a jazz drummer that came in and was like crazy. I mean, this dude was like.
I remember the story about that guy too. Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
But I can't remember his name either.
Anyway, it was like, but he wanted to play jazz to everything that we played, you know.
Yeah.
I mean? So it was like, sometimes it would kind of fall out of what we were doing, you know. But he liked it difficult, and he liked it, you know, and he was a very talented guy, you know.
Yeah.
Very, very talented drummer. But to your credit, man, I mean, I remember being really intimidated whenever you. Well, I mean, not personality wise.
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
a very easy guy to know.
Sure.
But like watching you, you'd sit down. You're like, okay, how does it go? And Travis would be like, okay, well, it's kind of like, we'd play along a little bit, and you'd be like, oh, okay. I mean, you just go crazy, and I'm like, oh,
much.
God.
Yeah,
no,
a bit much.
But I mean, like, I get, because I'm barely hanging on as a musician, and I'm not being modest. Anybody that's ever heard me play or watched me play, I'm very simple. So
I think you're a little bit harder on yourself.
I think he is
well,
too.
Yeah.
Well, but
He's way more talented than he lets on.
no,
Yes.
As far as musicianship goes and that kind of thing like that, I was always, I was just there to, I enjoyed it. I was trying to keep up and follow along, and you guys were like,
Ready to go.
I mean, very talented. I mean, you've seen
Right.
the videos. I'm sure you've heard him play before, and that
yeah.
kind of thing like that. I mean, this stuff it's way over me. You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, when do I come in? And Travis, we were talking about this when Travis was on here. It was like, what's my part? And he's like, it's real simple. It's just da 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 da. And then I'd be like, I would screw it up over and over and over again. You know what I mean? So that's the truth, dude. That's not me being modest. That's that way. But anyway, I always enjoyed. I'm glad you're doing these YouTube videos.
Yes.
Dude,
This is really strange.
Keep him going.
I mean, we were going to do a timeline, but that's already out the window anyway. But
well, I know that's something that's modern, but I mean, it's just,
yeah. Well, I haven't played, except I guess I started back about 3 months ago. I haven't played in like 9 years.
Wow,
And
really?
I'm rusty.
So
and-
you literally didn't pick up some. You didn't,
No,
you didn't play.
I literally went out there. We got a gym out there in the shop.
But
now,
you didn't play
and-
for 9 years.
No, I didn't. I looked in the corner of we have a little gym, and then on the side there's a little bit of storage area, and the drums are just stacked up over there, and they're rusty and not rusty, they're dusty.
Yeah.
And I need to clean them up, and I'm like, you know what, man,
It's time to get back.
even if it's just dedicating 10 or 15 minutes a day at it, whatever I can get out of that. And I thought, well, I need some kind of focus. I'm not interested in playing full time in a band anymore or anything like that. So
You're not.
no,
but
I'm
it's
not.
but it's in your blood though, man. I mean,
I
I'm
need
not
to get-
saying playing in a band. I'm just saying playing.
I need an outlet.
You've been at it your whole life almost.
But I
so-
needed like some kind of focus or challenge. So I thought, you know what? I'll like play some of my old band stuff, record it, try to do some covers or something, and it's cheaply done anyway, man. I just record it with a phone, a few different angles, and I don't have any good recording stuff. I don't even have mics like this or anything. So I just edit my playing to the original track of a song.
Yeah.
So it's really just low budget, but it's fun and. I'm humbled, man. A lot of my old musician friends, like from Tulsa area and stuff like that, they're all they're just really happy to see me playing again, and then I've got newer friends that didn't even know I played drums. They're like, "When did you start playing?" Well, I kind of
The ones that call you James.
Most of the ones that call me James don't even know about that, right?
James
so,
play drums.
Yeah. So it's been humbling, man. I really appreciate it.
That sounds like a good idea. I'm going to move away and then have somebody. I'm going to not have somebody call me by my first name. But
See,
anyways,
for me,
You could be Raptor or whatever, just a Snake King or some shit.
so you started playing drums, I'm sure, in what, 5th grade?
No, 9th grade.
Ninth grade.
8th or 9th grade.
So
yeah.
you didn't get in band? Because you were in band.
I got in band.
I was in band with you.
Yeah, 8th or 9th grade. Yeah, I was
So
a late bloomer. I didn't.
Wow.
I the funny story is they had a guitar program. I wanted to play guitar.
Yes.
I just wanted to be a musician.
Who had a guitar program?
Mr. Vogt did.
I did not know that.
I knew
It
that
it
somehow.
ended the year before I got in there,
Oh,
and I looked
then
around,
you
and of
scrapped
course.
it.
I'm a Pantera head or whatever, I love metal, and I'm looking around thinking, okay, what doesn't suck in this room right now? And I see a drums, I'm like, I guess I'll try that, and I kind of took to it.
Yeah.
It was strange.
So he had a guitar program for 1 year and then he scrapped it.
I don't know how many years, but
Did he teach it?
I think it was self-taught type deal.
Oh, okay.
And when you leave high school students to their own devices,
They're not gonna
they're going
teach
to cause
themselves.
trouble. So I think that's what happened. yeah.
Right.
Well, on the tail end of it, probably, whenever I came through, of course,
Way before.
you guys, but we started bringing, like I talked about it on here before. Me, Josh Hawthorne, Mark Graves, we all brought our guitars to
Yep.
school, and it kind of got to be a thing where people started bringing their guitars who couldn't even play and that kind of stuff like that. And I think they were kind of seeing, hey, there's an interest kind of running through everybody, and like I said, I remember hearing about it, but it was after I was already
Yeah.
gone that he
Somebody
was
screwed
doing
it up.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably
Someone made
so.
it not fun anymore. So, yeah.
Well, it's probably hard to work both things because from Mr. Vote's point of view, because he's, he was real deep into the.
He had some wild ones.
Yeah.
His famous quote for me was, "We'd be in concert band, like you'd have marching season, and when football season's over, we'd have concert band." So they had this little drum set, and Brandon McKay mostly had the drum set, but every once in a while he'd give it to me, and I know why he didn't give it to me very much because. Again, I'd get a little out of hand, and then he'd say, "James, this is not Metallica concert." I'm trying to back it off as much as I can.
It could be.
See, it could be if you wanted to. Yeah.
And to me, I totally understand where you're coming from as far as music. For me, is feel. There's no room for the clinical side that's for me.
Right.
I mean, everything comes off of feel. That's why I don't read music or anything. Not that I'm against it, but music to me is real. Like it's just. Like learn how to strum a guitar. When people say, "Dude, can you teach me how to strum a guitar?" I'm like, "No, I don't know how I do it. It's feel. I just take off.
Here.
And I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, you're very natural.
This is how I got through marching band. I played the quads one year. I made up my own shit, and either Mr. Vote liked what I was doing and just let it go, or he didn't. More than likely, he knew what was going on, but there's a slight chance maybe he just wasn't paying attention. I made up my own crap on those. So then the next 2 years, I played snare drum. Well, there's like 3 or 4 of them. You got to be I never learned how to read music because that just wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
Brandon McCabe would play it, and then I would memorize it from him because he was the best sight reader. I mean, we'd go to like these competitions or whatever. He'd win them all the time. And I was stupid enough to go to one time and got last, of course, because I don't know how to read music. What was I even doing there? So Brandon would just play it to me. I just memorize it. That's how I got through high school band.
Now, see, that I can identify with. That mindset I can, of just. I mean, I took band whenever I was young, like 7th grade, and quit when I got to Wilburton. Okay, but whenever I was doing it, and they were teaching us music, half notes, and all that kind of stuff like that, I was just like. I wouldn't listen. I couldn't stay with it long enough. I was like, no, man, start playing the song and I'll play along with it. That was my best bet. So
I got to reiterate. It was either Brandon McCabe would do it sometimes or when Jason Taylor was there. Jason would also play it to me too. Yeah, but I didn't know how to read music. Pantera didn't read music, so I wasn't either.
What grade were you in whenever you started playing with Travis and all those guys?
10th grade.
Really?
9th or 10th. Yeah, I didn't quite have a driver's license yet. So
that's crazy, dude.
If we did go, we usually played at my mom and dad's garage, but if we went anywhere else, it seems like maybe Travis had something set up at there one time. I'd have to ride with him or Dustin because I didn't have a driver's license yet. So, yeah I was 15, 16. Yeah.
I know you've been doing it long enough that for me, you were talking about being synonymous with the parts store or whatever, but for me, it's drums. I mean, that's literally what I know you by.
Cool.
Anytime I think about you. So I don't have to call you James. I can call you Hardy if I want to.
That's fine.
In my mind.
Same here.
Hardy's a drummer to me.
Right on. So. Yeah.
For sure he is.
Good stuff, man.
What about the second band?
The second band was with Adam Montana and a guy named Gary Henderson, and we had rotated singers. At that time, we had a hard time.
I remember hearing about this.
I remember that name.
Do you remember Gary?
Did he have a big beard?
Yes.
I remember hearing about this band.
So weird.
Right? Did you really?
Yes.
Weird. Well,
you guys play at Beard Edition?
No.
Did you guys practice there or something like that?
No, I think the only we played in my mom and dad's garage. But the only gig we ever played, we played a talent show at Robbers Cave, the amphitheater. And
that's what I know.
There was like there was old people that were running up the stairs holding their ears, and then there's like 1 or 2 kids that came down like our age, and I remember Eric Nonai was there, and he was one of the few people that stayed because he knew we were playing. He was just like, yeah, go for it, Eric Nonai, that guy could play anything.
Yeah, I've heard. I haven't spent much time around him.
He could play anything.
Yeah, he was gone.
And very well. So, yeah. I never get to play with him, though.
I didn't either.
Jam, yeah.
What was that band name?
Black Horizon.
Black Horizon?
Yeah.
Then your third band?
Probably one with Travis again.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're going back to Travis.
Yeah.
Same band.
That's an on and off thing.
Now, he said Elegy, right?
I was not in Elegy.
Oh,
that was him and Tony Langston and Brandon McCabe, and Nonai was playing bass, I think. Yeah. That was around the time that I was with with Adam and them.
Oh, okay.
And again, on and off with Adam too, like countless different combinations with him. But I played music on and off with him for years and years and years. So that's kind of a gray area at that point. It was either with a band with Travis or Adam at that time.
And then you got into another band.
Yeah, I got into Creed 2.0. Do you remember that?
Yeah, but what was the name?
Creed.
You don't want to say it?
No, I'll say it. We were called Oversoul.
Yes, Oversoul.
Yeah. Creed 2.0.
So what happened there? I mean,
I had some good times with those guys.
Yeah.
With two of them. Yeah.
not the third one.
There was one of them that I'd rather not. My mom always said not to say anything bad about people. Always be positive. We'll just kind of leave it at that.
Yeah,
But
and that's what honestly that's what you live by, because I've never heard you really talk bad about anybody.
ask my wife. She hears all of it. I can vent, man. I can vent pretty well. But anyway, yeah, I was with the guy from our area that actually made it. Like, he made it. Kyle Williams.
Yeah.
He's going to be on this TV show about the song. I can't remember. My wife's taping it on the DVR.
It was on the other night, I think.
Yeah. I mean, he's a guy that made it from this area.
Super talented dude, too.
Yeah, ridiculous. Yeah. And then there's our singer was Andrew Bryan from up here in McAllister.
Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, he's a really good singer.
Now you guys came over to Travis's whenever I was playing with Travis once.
Yeah.
Or a few times.
I don't know what we were doing there, but
it was we were like doing it was like a writing thing. I remember that was what I remember the thought process being.
Seems like something
we
like
were
that.
going to try to write, because at that time we were the only bands around.
Right.
Right. And Kyle and his brother were young.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. They
Well,
were
I think
kids.
Kyle might have been. I was playing with him probably 17, 18. I know that when we'd play like 21 and up places, they would kind of let him in, but they'd put like a bracelet or something on. You can drink. Well, like Kyle's going to drink anyway, but one of my only two friends, this guy and Kyle Williams. And the funny thing is, you could get in more trouble with them, with Kyle Williams or Benny Klein, with no
That's very
refreshments involved.
That's what I tell people. I'm like, I've never been drunk before, and they're like, "Oh, so you're Mormon?" And you probably look down on me, don't you? And I'm like, "No,
Benny Klein's a good freaking
I can
time.
have a good time."
Yeah.
And you'll swear up and down that I am drunk.
Oh,
but
yeah. I mean, that's the guys you got to look out for. If he's going to act that way sober, imagine if he was on something.
That's why I've never done it. That's why I've never done it. Oh, gosh.
Let me tell you something. We were talking earlier about your family. Mm-hmm. Man, and I got nothing but good to say about them. But you know what? Don't cross the James boys, or anybody in, it's funny. Christian, Israel's son.
Yes.
Right? He was at my sister's house because him and Jordan are together.
My little cousin. But he's bigger.
Him and Jordan are together, and Jordan's related to me by marriage through my brother-in-law, Robert. So anyway, I was talking to him a little bit. And we were just going on about, I was talking old stories about, I wasn't around Israel a lot, but what I have been, it was a good time as well.
Right.
So, and Levi especially.
Oh, boy,
yeah. So I'm like, man, you're a Beecham. That's crazy. A second generation, man. And then I got to thinking, like, you're James too. You're a freaking wild man. He just looked at me. He's like, yeah. He's real calm. He's like, yeah. So anyway, I don't get off the subject, but I want to talk about him because I thought that was funny, man.
So, but Kyle, he's in a Christian band, right?
Yeah. Stars Go Dim, I believe.
Yeah,
he's been on, God, what is that? That tour that comes through, big tour.
We Are the Messengers just keep popping up in my head.
It's one of the two.
That?
He does.
Is that a band?
He does both of them. I think.
Wasn't he involved? Didn't they play some music with the band Wilco at one time?
I think so.
Somehow connected to that.
He's done so much stuff I can't keep up with him.
I think so, because I remember when I saw they're playing Canes here pretty soon, and I remember thinking that Kyle was somehow, when that Stars Go Dim thing was somehow, I say thing, I don't mean to shortchange it or anything, but I'm just saying it was that they were doing something when those guys were doing pretty well too. So.
And then you know who Pillar is, right?
Yeah.
I love that band. It seems like he was playing with their old drummer or something. But he's done all kinds of stuff, man, and he deserves it because you know what? Unlike some people I know, he has never stepped on anybody's toes to get ahead, tell lies about people, steal equipment, whatever. He's never done stuff like that.
Dang, you have people steal equipment?
I know,
dude. You talk about musicians, really? You get to know a few that are not as nice, as Hardy and I.
They'll do whatever it takes to get ahead, and guess what? It doesn't work.
Give me a story then.
Nah, I really don't have.
You don't have to say any names.
Story.
Don't give me any names, but tell me something. Tell me something that's happened that's crazy.
Something was stolen from a. Trying to think.
See, this is going to be awesome because Hardy's played enough in real bands. Like me and Travis has messed
I don't
around.
know real bands.
But I mean, you played a lot of gigs. I mean, you spent a lot of time.
I've done some stuff. Yeah, a little bit.
You had some success. You made money. I never made any money doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I didn't either. No, I mean, it was to the point where I might have. You was starting to maybe get there, but it was going to take another couple of years. But yeah, but I've got to the point where we made enough money to get to the next show.
Yeah.
You know, like 200 miles away or whatever. But I mean, no.
That's made it to me, man. I've never made a dime. I'm in the negative with music.
Well, again,
hard.
I'm still in the negative. I'm still in the negative. Trust me. I did not make. No.
If music was a mafia, they would have killed me a long time ago.
Yeah, but the thing is if you're
life.
doing what you love, you know,
You do what you like.
You do what you like.
Well, I did some
you
of
do
that.
what you like. Then
That's
you,
what Don told me.
Then you,
so.
yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's
Try not
not
to
always
bring
about
it up,
making
dude.
money, and yeah, you want to make it to where you could make a living off of
Right,
it,
right.
But it's really hard.
Yeah.
And then when you meet somebody, you know, when you have a woman in your life or another man, it's you can't do it.
You just tap out at that point.
Yeah, you can't do it. It's going to be too hard.
Some people do it.
For most people.
Kyle did it. Kyle Williams is doing it. I'll just put it like
Is
this.
he married?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's married. I believe he's got 2 kids.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Yeah. But
Great.
Yeah, I used to work with his dad, and his dad would kind of keep me up to speed on what Kyle was doing. You know, like when he first got that, he bought a Taylor guitar, and his dad was telling me, Mike, and he would keep me up to date, send me some music back. You know, when Napster and all that kind of stuff was the deal, and he would send me some files, so I could kind of keep up with Kyle's music that way. And that was pretty cool. But what I'm really curious about is, okay, you were listening some bands that you like and that kind of thing like that. What do you think about the state of music as far as what you would consider popular, not pop music necessarily, but music as a whole? I mean, you like heavier music. Are there any bands that you listen to that are out now that are kind of recent bands? Or you still listen to like the old stuff?
I still like. I'm more picky with my rock music.
Yeah.
You know, heavy metal not as much, but I'm still picky with that too, and I'm getting more picky as time goes on. With rock, I mean, I'm
not trying to get you to plug bands necessarily, but I'm just kind of curious
I don't
what your
mind,
take is on music and stuff.
the less commercialized, the better.
Yeah.
There's got to be substance, and you know as well as I do, the simpler it is, if it's just got a catchy hook with some stupid lyrics to it that doesn't even make any sense, it's going to be a top 40 song.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You're going to make it,
and that's kind of crap. I can't do it.
Right? No, I can't either. For the most part.
Yeah, no.
Some stuff that's catchy I like.
That's what I work with a guy, and he's a big music guy. He never really was a musician, but he's somebody you can talk to music about. And we were talking one day, and he listens to, I don't mean to laugh at it necessarily, but
you just laughed.
He listens to a lot of Christian rock.
Yeah.
Like he's like, and he's not a church goer per se, at all.
Right.
And really wasn't raised that way. But he's like, man, I've been looking around for some decent music, and that's all I can find that I really like. And I was like, really? I was like, well, does the lyrical content mess with you at all? And he's like, musically though. He's like, there's actually some good musicians playing Christian music right now. I was like, what? So he starts naming off all these bands to me, and it's not that I'm against Christianity, as a whole or anything like that. It's just that I just don't really
kill our podcast right here.
I'm just saying my personal, usually what I have dug into as far as Christian music goes doesn't really interest me. What I mean? A lot of it sounds a lot the same. And he's like, no, you got to listen to the heavy stuff, like Christian metal. He loves Christian metal.
There's some good stuff out there.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
And he's had me listen to a couple of them, and I'll listen. It's definitely, there's some heavy stuff out there that's Christian band stuff.
So what's some of the rock bands that you listen to now?
Oh, you probably wouldn't know them. They're not on the radio. There is one. My wife turned me on to him. We've seen them twice. Make sure I get the name right. Nothing More. You heard them?
I have not.
It's good stuff.
Really?
It's good stuff. It's catchy enough to where could be on the radio, but
see, I'm looking for inspiration because I hate the music.
Well, check
scene,
them out.
You know what I'm saying?
I got to say, probably my number one favorite rock band. You're not going to hear them on the radio either. Maybe on Sirius or something like that. But it's Raw. R.A. is their name.
Wait a minute. I've heard of this band.
They're fantastic, man. They're so underrated.
What style of music do they play? What kind of stuff do you? I mean,
man, I don't know. I can't really
classify it or whatever.
I mean, to me, it's rock. If it's not heavy metal, it's rock.
Yeah.
I'm real plain black and white like that. But.
Yeah, me too.
Well, that's like I ran across a band here a while back called Rival Sons that's evidently been out a long time since the 2000s. Name. Well, I hadn't heard of them, and then I don't remember how I heard of them, and then they were playing at this place in Fort Smith. I can't think of the Temple. I think that's what it's called, in Fort Smith.
Yep.
And I had been listening to them for like a week. And my wife gets us tickets, and we go and watch them. Dude, they're awesome. Like, I didn't think there were any rock bands really left.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like real rock. And
right.
This dude's got a really good voice that's not... They don't have anything electronic, which I'm not even necessarily against that, but I just miss real instruments. You know what I'm saying?
Started, yeah.
And you know, there's no electronic snares in their music, none of that. You know, but it's rock. It's like almost 70s type rock music. You know, without being, I don't know, like the Strokes and that kind of thing, like that. The old 2000 stuff that was supposed to be like 70s music or whatever,
right.
was not to me.
Right.
But those guys were cool. But that's why I'm looking for inspiration. I knew you'd have some bands in your back pocket.
Yeah, I got a few,
there.
but you know, you asked me what was wrong with the state right now. You just nailed it. Too much electronic crap.
Yeah.
Like if you're calling yourself a quote band and you got two guys that are doing vocals and all the rest of it's on a keyboard there.
Yeah.
That's not music.
Yeah.
And I get argued with my wife sometimes. She's like, they play it live. They have music. And I said, well, I'd like to see it because all I hear on their music is just people pushing buttons on stuff,
right.
man. That's, well,
that's
a lot of music to me.
Well, a lot of alternative stuff that's put under the alternative deal. My wife listens to a lot of it. So,
yeah.
But you go to watch these people play live, or I say go, or like you watch a video of them or something like that on YouTube, and there's like 8 people in this band, right? And they all are doing some electronic something or other. You know what I mean? Everybody's got they've got a Mac sitting there, and they're doing stuff, and another guy's playing a keyboard that's doing God only knows what. You know, I don't know what. I don't really understand all of it, but that's one of the things I do not enjoy.
Well, you know, I want to reiterate something. Going back to talking about us in Creed, I'm kind of making fun a little bit, but you know, to put it bluntly, when you got someone that's the quote composer of the band, and then you've got 3 other guys of the rhythm section that's trying to make it not sound like that one influence he has, it's really difficult. You know, so that's what I'm kind of making fun. I'm not necessarily a big fan of that band or anything, but yeah, it's just. You know, you've been lucky playing with like Travis and people like that have a lot of different influences and stuff. Yeah. So, you know, it's...
Well, you know, you naturally gravitate, I think. You know, Travis and I are a lot different. You know, I mean, that's the weird dynamic about he and I playing music for so long was we don't come from the same place musically at all, you know. And our borders will overlap a little bit here and there, but...
That's good, too.
But, you know... Writing wise, it was always a good thing, but sometimes playing stuff, I didn't always enjoy necessarily what we were doing. I didn't hate it, or I wouldn't have done it.
Right.
But yeah, like I said, having some input and some say in what gets written. Was really nice. It's really easy to keep going.
If you put your own spin on it, it makes it so much more enjoyable.
Well, and the beauty of doing what you do though is you can always put your own influence. You know, I mean, the drums. You know, that drummer has got a lot of free reign. I mean, if you don't like it, well, then he could stop playing for a minute and see how ridiculous.
Or they could get tired of it, and then you boot your ass out the door too. You know, we don't. You know, it's like Travis, man. We're playing these songs, and all of a sudden I'm rolling double bass back there, and he's just going, I don't know, man. You know, so again, I could be a bit much. I have no hard feelings against that guy. I love that guy. And always, you know, like when it was time to like part ways or whatever, it was always kind of a mutual thing. It's like, you know what, maybe I'm a bit much for this, and you're wanting to go down a different avenue, and I respect it, and I enjoy what you're playing. But, you know, as far as creative, you know, what I wanted to write, you know, wouldn't match necessarily. I always wanted something more over the top. So when I finally got a chance to join the last band I was in for 4 years, they were called Submerged in Dirt, death metal, thrash metal, it was perfect for me. Because I could literally be as over the top as I wanted to, and the music would call for it, you know. So... You know, that was a dream come true. The problem is with that is you're working for, I don't know, 14, 15 years to play music for a living. That's your goal in life, right? and you've got a support system at home that she basically says, hey, you go do your thing, and I'll hold it down right here. And you're getting along perfect with your bandmates. It's the perfect scenario. You're actually going out. You're going to Philadelphia. You're going to L.A., whatever, and playing a little bit. Again, not making any money. And these are not big venues, and you're not selling out Madison Square Garden by any means, okay? You could go to, Albuquerque, New Mexico, and play in front of 20 people, Those 20 people are going to be on your side. Yeah. they're going to be joining it, but it's 20 people. So, but you don't care. You just play as if there was 2,000 people.
Yeah.
But, I got to a point where, you got to do a lot of editing.
It's okay.
You good?
Yeah. You got to a point where?
I got to a point where, I don't know, man. Like, I just, I don't want to sound like an old haggard musician that was out for months and months. The longest we'd be out would be like a week and a half. Basically, from our day jobs, however long vacation time we had, that's how far we'd go, as long we go. So it got to a point where I started cracking. I started to sissy out. It was not anybody like my wife or anybody pushing for me to, no, you need to be home and this and that. It was me. And here I was 30 years old, and my best friends at the time were in this band with me.
I wasn't in the band.
But you were best musician friends. Let's put it that way.
I'm kind of a musician.
Not really.
Sort of. Yeah. I'm not gonna rob you of that one.
Are we getting back to the skin flute thing again? Is that what's happening here?
That was my joke, man. Those jokes. So
go ahead. Sorry. I just had to throw some humor in there.
Yeah, of course. So basically, that's what happened. I finally had to just kind of give it up, And the funny thing was, I was going to continue to play at the house and this and that, but it just wasn't the same. Again, I have to have an end goal of some sort.
Right.
Yeah.
So basically, my story ends there with, I quit my band, and I didn't want to work at the parts store for the rest of my life. So I needed to find something. Okay, I need to get a big boy job or a career or whatever. I found physical therapy, and I knew that the medical field, I could live out in the woods or whatever and not have to move and find something available. So long story short, that's what I did. I went to school for 4 years and, did that.
It's awesome though, dude. I mean, of all the things to pick, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that's definitely one of the best in this area for damn sure.
Yeah.
As far as demand and pay and those kind of things like that. So it's awesome, man.
Yeah.
And you're getting to help people.
Yeah. It's rewarding, man. It really is. I work with special needs kids at the schools and stuff. And
it's a funny thing that there's not very many people that are outside. Like I did CNA work. I'm not a professional at all or anything, but I've worked in the medical
work
field.
Though, man.
Definitely.
Oh, I respect the hell out of that.
But it was fun. I like the helping people side of it, and all too often.
When you're at the VA, man, that's
yeah. Well, most people talk about the money and like nurses and all the different people that make up the medical field in this area, especially. Usually it's about money, These people are, you find ways to make money, but the cool offshoot of it to me was always, hey, this person needs something, you're able to supply it. So, help somebody out or whatever. That was the cool part.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't know you were doing that. I knew you were in the medical field, but I wasn't for sure what I know, now, but
Sure.
I'm just saying, I didn't know for a long time. I was just like, oh, okay. I didn't know what you were up to.
Yeah. Well, that's like maybe a year ago, not even that long, I found out you were married to Brandy, and I was like, that's freaking awesome.
Yeah, we've been married 3 years.
Is it 3 years, really?
Almost 3 years.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, as soon as she turned 18.
No, you know what? That's a tribute to his.
She's way younger than him.
Right,
joke.
but that's a tribute to his good looks, man.
If
you can pull someone younger, man, God bless you.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's 28 and I'm 42. Okay, I said it again.
Say it one more time.
I don't mind saying it. She's 28 and I'm 42.
You need to wear that with a badge of honor, okay? Because I guarantee you, we're all at the age now. We're getting a little sensitive about that. So, you know what I mean?
Well, I don't say my age.
I'm a really large child, so women my age are, they're like normal people, and I'm still not. So, I not to say that Brandy, she's actually mature for her age, but
she's probably more mature than you, I'm sure.
Way
more.
I mean, you talk about somebody that saved my financial life, if nothing else.
Yeah.
She's like, really? Do you really think you need this?
You really don't care about your credit score?
Yeah, I did not.
Yeah, he did not care about his credit score.
I'm like, hey, I just found this amp was on sale, this new guitar amp. She's like, you don't even play in a band anymore. I was like, I know, but it was cheap.
Yeah.
You know, and I can play on it. It's fun.
That
I could
reminds
be
me
in a
of all
band
the-
again one day.
That reminds me of all the Black Friday shoppers right there. Look how much money I saved on Black Friday. Nothing. You saved nothing.
You got a bunch of useless
Because
crap.
you bought a lot of stuff that you weren't going to buy in the first place and you don't need.
Hey, and I had a guy at Best Buy tell me, speaking of Black Friday, we were talking about TVs one day when I was in there, and he's like, man, you don't really want that TV. It's one of our Black Friday TVs. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, they send us TVs that we can sell cheaper because they suck for Black Friday.
Yeah,
They caught
people
on.
don't.
They
Yeah,
caught
people
on.
don't. Especially in the TV world, man. The TVs, they see 4K and they see 400 bucks, and they're like, oh, 4K TV. Oh, and they buy it, and it's a crappy
Right.
TV.
And that was this guy's point.
You have to, with anything you buy or any big purchase, you have to be like Benny Klein, and you have to research the hell out of everything, because if you don't, you're going to end up buying a lot of junk.
Yeah. The words.
Anyways,
Man,
so back to
I need to take that advice.
yes, you do.
Because I buy car parts, I'm like this.
I was here-
How much does Summit charge for it? Okay, I'll take it.
I was
don't need to
here.
look
I
around.
was here way before Brandy was, and I've been telling you this stuff all these years. But it took a girl
Yeah.
to
You
change
have
your mind.
No boobs
funny
and
how
a
that
huge
works.
goatee. You know what I'm saying? Those are my turnoffs. No boobs, goatees.
Well,
here you
I'm
go.
gonna shave this goatee then. I'll be back.
Yep. We'll be right back.
So, when you, well, what I was gonna ask you about Submerge the Dirt, are they still going?
No, they're not.
Okay.
No.
Are any of those guys still playing?
Yeah. Oh,
anything?
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
They're still involved.
So they've started like their own.
That's
whatever.
what happens. You know as well as I do. When a band busts up, they just form other bands that have busted up. They just kind of, combine and
Yeah, that's it.
coagulate.
Do you still
whatever.
keep in touch with all those guys?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Good guys.
Yeah, that's why you always hear that all those old grunge bands from the 90s all knew each other because they really did.
Yeah.
It's I guess you could say a scene or whatever, but when it's not that common that people play music like seriously.
Right.
It's common for people to know how to play, but it's not for people to actually, so like you said,
Right.
you go, oh, I'm not with these guys anymore. Who else is playing? Well, we're playing. We need somebody. Oh, cool. And you kind of get to know everybody that
Right.
way.
Right.
It's a pretty cool. It's a neat thing for people that, like I was just saying, when it's uncommon, then you finally find somebody you have some common ground with, and it's kind of neat to be able to hook up with those dudes. You
Yep.
know?
For sure.
And I feel guilty. I want to go back to the parts store days. I feel guilty because I named off some people's names and I left out Dwayne.
Maynard.
I'm so sorry.
Of course.
I'm so
I
sorry.
guarantee you he doesn't give a shit if you talk about him or not.
Not at all.
He would rather you not. Especially us. Because we give him more crap.
Yes, we did.
Oh, my
man.
God.
Oh, I
Yeah.
used to, man. Oh gosh, man! I used to have a lot of fun with him.
Oh, yeah.
He had a very short temper.
Oh.
and but he,
Those people.
his personality is not like mine. Of course,
No,
he was not
no.
he was not. He didn't joke around.
He's got a
okay?
sense of humor. It's just
He does.
different than
He
ours.
does. You just got to break him out of his shell. You know,
Yes,
he was
you
in a
do.
he was in a big shell
Oh,
back then.
yeah.
And man, I used to. Oh gosh, I would just say stuff to him like, man, you're looking good over there.
Yeah.
And he would pick up whatever spark plug, a socket, whatever was available, and he would throw it hard as he could at my face.
Seriously.
He busted up that back window
busted-
back there.
Yes,
Yeah, we
he-
were there. Both of us. Yeah.
God.
Yeah, he did. I was like, oh, well, I'm going to get back to Stockton Oil because that's what I'm supposed to be doing
Yeah,
right now.
Not jacking with you.
Not messing with
Yep.
Maynard.
And he's a cop.
He's a cop.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, don't mess with him, man. He's like Clint Eastwood and
Oh,
Dirty
yeah.
Harry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like one of
he'd
those-
rather just shoot you than look at you.
Yes, and he's one of those guys where he's one of those guys where you just got to know him.
Yeah.
If from the outside looking in, you're like, oh, whatever. I don't like that guy, whatever.
He's a
but
hard
if you,
ass,
But if
yeah.
you know him, he's
I love
good
the
as
guy.
gold, man.
Love
yes.
the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
I
don't mess with him. And don't call him pork and beans.
Oh,
Don't call him Maynard. Don't call him Dwight.
Boy, did-
Whatever. Don't call him Slurp Dog. Don't call him that. That gets him fighting mad.
now when
I
he's
hope
on,
you're watching, buddy.
now when he's on duty, man, he's gonna someone's gonna call him some of these names about like tell your story about. I didn't include that in the podcast, but you did tell the story about your teacher. You calling him by his first name.
Oh God, yeah. Jerry Lessel, yeah, I called him Jerry Don.
Woo.
He did not appreciate it.
He whipped your ass,
He
probably.
busted my ass for it. For real. For real.
So yeah, don't call. Yeah, we did have a lot of nicknames for him.
Yes,
too.
we did. Yeah.
But see, he's a guy like that, if you show weakness like that around the wrong people, like us,
Oh, yeah.
then, it's the worst thing you can do is
Of
let somebody
course.
know that something bothers you.
Well, I don't know how we started calling pork and beans, but for some reason we started calling pork and beans. And then, I don't know if you were there, but one time there's this fairly attractive woman come through, and I was teasing him. He's just like, he was kind of not really saying it, but he was looking. And I said, "Boy, I tell you what, I bet you'd like to slurp pork and beans out of crack of her ass." And I said, "That's your new name, Slurp Dog." Woo! Yeah, I got a bunch of shit thrown at me for that.
I'm sure I was there.
And that dude got long legs, so he's gonna catch my midget ass, and he did. And I'm glad we were at work, and he could have got fired because he would have beat the shit out of me. That's for sure.
Man, he just
Ain't no way
couldn't take
around
it. If you send him to that point, man, he's gonna just. It was.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so fun working there.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
Yep.
If we could go back, just all of us, it would be great.
Yeah, it would be like a nice family reunion.
Yeah.
I didn't work there, obviously, but it just the way you guys talk about it reminds me of like Clerks or something like that.
Yeah, it was similar. Yeah. We didn't get as crazy, but we got, when you're hanging out with Benny Klein.
I was gonna say there's plenty of potential there with the people that I knew. That
It's
were.
always a good time.
If I'd have known you guys as well as I do at that time, I probably would have just came down there and hung out or got a job there or something like that. I wish I had now, I guess.
Yep.
But.
Yeah, that's what we did. We were like, oh yeah, there's some cool guys that working down there. We're gonna go hang out with them and work. It's no big deal. This is the guy. If you guys remember, we talked about on a couple podcasts ago with Trent Hardaway. We talked about the Sweet 17 task force that we had and the Cheetah, the van that we took up on the mountain. Well, this is the guy that rode back with me when the engine blew, and I know for sure we haven't talked about this in 15 years.
It's been a while.
Or longer. And I just want to get your side of the story. And I'm sure I want to know, when you heard us talking about it, did it bring back, did it bring back the feeling that you had?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right. Go ahead. Take over.
Everything you mentioned about that story, the whole story, completely 100% accurate. This is my input on the whole thing, my spin on it. First off, we're heading down this hill, mountain, whatever, high rate of speed, no brakes, no steering. Well, there was steering, but it was 2 turns to 1 turn. And I remember you asking, why wasn't anybody helping you? And the funny thing is I wasn't necessarily mad. I was scared to death, but I wasn't mad we got down that hill. I was happy. I was happy that we were alive. I'm sure I was white as a ghost because I felt like there was no blood in my body left. But I got thinking about it. I was like, man, you know what? I was in the back of that van, hold on for dear life, and I'm watching Ben, literally, like you said, a one-man band. He's holding his battery cable down, and he's turning that wheel. I mean, like
I'd done it a million times.
Yeah, a champ.
And that was the first
Dude,
time.
Professional.
Thank you.
Yeah, we didn't die. So kudos to you, man. But, and I remember in the back of my head, I'm holding on to whatever's there, and I'm just like brace myself thinking, yeah, we're going to go down this hill, but we're going to be barrel rolling down this bitch, right? So, but also I'm thinking, Ben needs some help. Ben's doing this shit all by himself. And I'm just sitting back there holding on thinking, man, I got to help him do something. But that battery cable's not going to hold me in the van when we, strap me in.
True.
And brace myself when we start barrel rolling because we're going to. That's what I'm thinking.
Somebody's got to survive to tell what happened.
Right.
Somebody's got to live,
And that was going to be me. Because I'm going to tell you, the engine's here. So I don't know if you mentioned this.
I thought you were in the passenger side. I thought you were up there with me.
I can't remember, sir.
And in that case, you couldn't have reached it if you wanted to. I mean,
That's true.
It was going to be.
I don't remember where I was at. I just remember I was holding on for dear life.
It was a ride. Ooh. For real.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm bringing it up again, but of course, I don't want to talk about it.
It was the most
myself.
exciting and scary time I've ever had in my life. It was amazing. But yet I was terrified too. And the funny thing about it is, Chance was with us too. We were going back down the hill when we ended up at Chance's house at like 1 or 2 in the morning. He's not even there. No one's at his house, but there's a party going on in his front yard. And I remember getting out of that van and stepping on ground going, man, we made it. This is so awesome. I'm alive. And I remember seeing Missy Gray. She drank like a fish back in them days, and she had this bottle or this Sonic cup like that full of something. I was like, what's in this? And before she could even say Everclear, I just started drinking it. And of course, I about puked and everything, but I got drunk as shit that night. But I thought that was the funniest thing because Chance is not home. He's been up on the hill with us,
all day,
almost dying.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, there's this party on his front yard. We're like, all right, I guess we're doing this now. I'm going to celebrate life right now.
Well, you were just happy to be alive.
I was, man.
Was it that scary? I mean, how scared were you?
1 to 10, 11. Yeah, I mean,
it's not a joke, man.
Yeah.
It's for real. It was one hell of a ride.
If I'm not driving in a deal like that, I would be terrified
Definitely.
too.
Yeah.
No matter who's driving.
That's my biggest fear is I don't do roller coaster. I don't do anything like that because I need to be in control.
You went on a roller coaster ride.
It was worse than anything. Yeah. I mean, it was amazing fun. But at the same time, it's like, this is going to have some consequences. This is going to freaking hurt.
I remember you in the passenger side, and I just remember you just, like, braced up or something, out of my peripherals. I was just like, I didn't have time to really think about you. I was trying to keep you alive.
Yeah.
And me. I was trying to keep us all alive. I was trying to keep the van intact. But I'm surprised the thing didn't barrel roll down just,
Oh, yeah.
But here we are.
I've never been up there again, but I've always wanted to just drive down it at like a moderate, safe pace with my seatbelt on and control my own vehicle at a decent rate of speed, not anything fast, and just see
what we went
how
through.
Dangerous it really was.
Yeah.
It's not the same. There's been so much activity up there now with all those wells that have been drilled and they've redone those roads and stuff. It's not the harrowing trail that it used to be, probably back in the day.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a lot
but
more.
it has a whole lot of roads up there now, man. It's easy to get lost.
I'm sure. Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Easy to get
I can
lost.
imagine.
I went on a call. Brady and I went on a call up there, and we were in separate vehicles. And not a call. We went to that. We got word that there was a guy that had a felony warrant. So him and I go up there, and we get a call while we're up there. We go to the house, and the guy's not there. So then we're trying to leave. And I thought we were, I'm pretty good at directions, I guess, but not that night. I was not. We got a call.
Who's Brady, by the way?
Brady Mahoney.
Okay.
And he was in another car behind me. We're both in our patrol units, and he's following me, and then I'm like backing up and turning around, and he's backing up, turning around, and I'm like, all right, let's go this way, and he's like, all right, he follows me. So, but we're on a call, and we're like, we need to get there. It wasn't an emergency, but we needed to get there. And Israel, who was the sheriff at the time, he was at home just chilling, watching TV, and he had to get his gear on and go take the call for us because we could not get off that mountain in time. I ended up going all the way to Red Oak. I knew that route. That route was
I've been through that.
old school route. It was you knew that route, but up top, all them roads, we were lost, completely lost, and we didn't have GPS on our phones or anything, so none of that was.
We used to drive around up there and drink all the time whenever I was first out of high school. So I did so much of that. I got to where I knew it. You know what I'm saying? But we weren't worried about being lost. We like fill up with gas where we go, make sure we got,
but there's so many new roads up there now, though.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the last time I was up there was for oil field stuff. And I was like, where am I? I should know this. I'm just topped out on the mountain. I should know this.
Yeah.
The place where we used to party like crazy up there, have big bonfires and all that, you can't even tell that it's there. It doesn't even look close to the same. So
right.
Yeah, if somebody were to go up there now and to look where you guys came down, it would be like, oh, I'm sure it was kind of, that was a little bit crazy. But from whenever you guys done it, yeah. It was
insane.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It was a good time.
Like some of that shit you see on Ken Block and those guys racing down is what that shit was back then.
That's what Trent and I want to do. I mean, that's what we've always wanted to do is take some cars like those Ford Focuses up there and do some time trials.
Let me know, man. I'd like to do that too.
That would be really fun.
You guys are too damn cheap What are you gonna do? You're gonna buy a car? You know,
yeah, we were
anything?
thinking about like doing like a limit, like $400.
Yeah.
You can only
Just rent a car. You guys
Yeah,
take
there
some,
you go.
rent
Yeah.
some cars and go up there
Yeah.
and race down mountain, but down Panola Mountain.
So I'm reading a list that Flip sent us,
I know. I've been kind of going through
some
it in my
topics,
head.
and we did talk about how crappy music is nowadays.
You're welcome, Flip.
Yes, Flip.
I did that.
Flip is a good friend of ours from
Well, Hardy's a
Seattle.
good one to talk to about that kind of stuff because I know you're listening to music. So
I've never met Flip. I don't think.
No.
This
I've never
dude-
met him either.
Oh.
He's our online friend.
Oh, okay. All right.
I feel like I know him really good. I love him.
He's
I
someone.
love him too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He could fall right in. I'm telling you.
Yes.
This
Yeah.
guy would.
He could.
I mean,
He sent me a long list because I was like, he said, man, I can't relate to some of the things you guys, or a lot of the things you guys are saying because
course.
it's a lot of memory lane stuff
Yeah.
and mostly Wilburton, Latimer County
Yeah.
stuff,
Southeast Oklahoma
and,
crazy.
Yeah, and starting this, of course we want to have our good friends on,
Sure. Yeah.
and it's going to go that way,
But
it's
your
gonna,
demographic is really shrunken down to just people we grew up with.
Yeah.
right. So
So that's a good idea, expanding.
but
like
that's
that.
not what we want just to do. We
Right,
want to
right.
reach everyone. We want to,
Yeah.
not that we, we could sit here and tell funny stories, and I think everybody would love it.
Yeah.
And laugh but
Well, entertainment's the point of the whole thing, But
Exactly.
you can reach a point where it's only entertaining to like us sitting here,
Yeah.
and then it's like, well, then why in the hell are we sitting here with
Exactly.
microphones? Why aren't we just sitting in the parking lot bullshitting
Yeah.
about old times
Yep.
or whatever?
Flip's talking about one of his subjects was balancing work, family, and free time, and cutting people out of your life.
That's a long deal. You know what? That would
Well-
actually segue into what I was wanting to talk about.
All right.
Good.
Because I want to talk about your body.
Oh,
I love your body.
Yeah,
I do.
hey,
I
all
do.
When I
right.
say I love your body, I'm talking to you.
I was ready for this.
I'm
All
very
right.
impressed by
We
your
gonna
body.
leave that camera on, or
Why not?
We need to document this.
It's about to go down.
yeah, right. Well, hey, fire away.
So you quit the band, and you were not bodybuilding at that time.
No, since I was like 18, I jacked around with it, but I never stuck with it. I do some curls, I do some bench press, like
Yeah, because you
whatever
were
else.
working out when we were when we worked at the
a
parts
little
store.
bit, yeah, but nothing serious.
I still have my uniforms from the parts store, by the
Do
way.
you?
And I thought about wearing it tonight.
That'd be awesome.
I'm not sure if I can still wear it. And
That would make
I didn't even want to take it out of. I've got 3 of them, I think, sitting in the
Yeah.
closet. I was like,
They will not fit.
I
You
probably-
are much taller
Mine won't.
and much bigger than you were.
Mine won't. I promise you.
no, yours will not.
Hell no.
Yours will not. So you were weightlifting though then,
A little bit,
but
yeah.
not as serious as you.
No,
as
not
you
consistent
are.
or anything. No.
And when did you consistently get into it?
It was-
and talk about
Why?
why.
I want to know some whys.
I know why.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Well, take them clothes off. Let's see why.
Yeah.
No,
that's why.
I mean, what started it though?
He wants to look good, but and also balancing work along with that because that takes a lot of
Hold on though.
a lot of time.
Correct me if I'm wrong though
You're
about
wrong.
this. To take
You're
it to
wrong.
a level to where you're dedicated to it. Like you obviously are to get the results that you have. You got to be dedicated. So it's not. It can't just be. I want to look good with my shirt off because you could have put on what 20 pounds and done that.
Yeah.
Is
You
it
know
one of
what I'm
those things
saying?
though but you're never satisfied?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
See?
The moment well,
Start doing it.
yeah, when you get serious about it, you're never going to be satisfied. You better be ready to open that door up.
Does that suck? Sometimes.
Yeah, use it more for motivation though.
I was gonna say,
Honestly.
does the drive come from like the competition part of it more, or just personal goals? I mean, I know that's kind of tied.
It's a
together,
little
but-
bit of everything, really. My bodybuilding coach, his name's Marcus Wade. He was on a bodybuilding podcast not too long ago, and his description of it was very similar to mine. At this point, it's not necessarily we love to train because we do, but we just hate not training. Like
Yeah.
it's so ingrained in my, and I've always been a little bit. I've never been diagnosed, but I'm a little bit OCD. So whatever I choose to do for extracurricular activity or whatever, I'm all the way out there. Like with the drums or whatever it may be. So
You're either in or you're out.
If
Yeah.
you're doing it to death.
full
Yeah.
force, pretty
Yeah.
much, almost to my detriment at times. Yeah, it's one thing that happened with drums is I was practicing and trying to be perfect at everything, be the best I could possibly be. I wound up with a lot of overuse injuries, some tendonitis, some carpal tunnel, some different stuff. So that also kind of deterred me to back off a little bit, but I don't know. It's a combination of everything. It's really hard to pin it down to just one thing. The way it started for me, I was still playing in the band, and it was about a year into it. So I really started about 29, 30 years old, somewhere around in there. I don't know. I just decided I wanted to dedicate and just see what would happen. It snowballed. A year later, I did an online competition where it was like not a weight loss challenge, but like you know what I'm talking about, body transformation challenge, whatever.
Okay.
And that went pretty well, better than I expected. And I thought, you know what? At first, my goal was never to get in a man thong and get out there, you know what I mean? But the more I thought about it, I was talking to my wife, and she's
I love it when you do that, though.
Well, thank you very much. You're the only one.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, but it's mainly male demographic.
I don't believe that.
But anyway, I finally decided to just do a competition, just to do it. And that's my advice for a lot of people that want to maybe get into competing. You need to go to one and see if that's what you want to do. And second of all, finally, if you do it, you're either gonna love it or hate it. And it's a bigger love or hate relationship. The diet part of it, cutting down to minimal body fat to do it is miserable. You're literally suffering towards the end. I mean, it's the worst feeling ever. But that's what it takes to get where you want to be and do the way you want to look.
Well, that's what I mean about the level of dedication it takes, because like you said, it's not just getting out there and lifting weights. It's what you eat, how you eat. To get results like you're getting, I don't care who you are, you've got to have a system.
It's a lifestyle. For sure. Yeah, and that sounds cliche. Everybody's like, oh, it's living the lifestyle, the fit lifestyle. It's like a, trendy thing now. But, it really is,
Because I've went through periods in my life where I've lifted and lifted for months at a time, but never years at a time.
Right.
And so I know how it is to be short-term committed to it or whatever. But that's what I mean about the level of commitment that it takes. That's why I was saying it would seem strange to me, not strange necessarily, but hard maybe for me to grasp to do it because solely just to look good.
Yeah.
Oh God. Are we back live?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Keep going.
Anyway, my point to that is, like I said, I've lifted at times where I've went for months, and seen results and that kind of thing like that. Nothing, nothing staggering, but
you're a handsome man, so you can't go wrong anyway.
I appreciate that.
You can't go wrong.
That,
Maybe that's why I'm doing it, because I got a face for radio. That's why you guys have me here. I can't do anything about this. I can do something about everything else. So
no, man. Well, but I just say,
James, you look good.
Yeah, you do what you like.
I do what I like. Yeah, absolutely.
But I've always found it interesting. Because whenever a person gets to a certain level of, I don't know if you want to say fitness or whatever you want to say, but it's not a common look. You know what I'm saying? Like most people don't have the fortitude to get to the point that you're at.
Yeah.
That's why it's like we were talking about music earlier. To me, it's like, yeah, man. I want to get in shape. Everybody's always like, well, I'd like to get in shape. I'd like to get bigger. I'd like to da 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 da.
Right.
But physically doing it, that's that. To me, it speaks a lot about a person. You could say there are people out there that do it out of insecurities or whatever you want to say, but being insecure is one thing, but having the tenacity to stay after it, to get to a level like
Most of the people that are in this game right now doing what I do started from some sort of self-esteem issue or
well, I'm even fine with that. Whatever it takes to get you there. But it's the tenacity. I keep going back to that word because dude, to keep pushing. To keep going out there, and even, I'm sure you live through injuries and everything else.
Yeah, a little bit. It did help me. I was telling Ben earlier. It does help me the fact that I started a little bit later in life because most of my friends are around my same age or dealing with more injury problems, joint problems, and things like that than I am. I'm still fairly fresh, I guess you could say, as far as my frame goes and joints and all that health stuff. A lot of them are just dealing with more problems because they've been doing it longer.
Are you worried about that?
My time will come, but I'm also I'm also adapting my training to where I'm going to try to prolong that as long as I can. Sure.
But too, you're at the age you're at. I mean, you're really that prime gaining age, from what I understand.
I would hope so. Yeah. I don't want to keep spinning my wheels. So Yeah.
Because you get over here on my side of it, and it's kind of like it's a struggle.
But I was going to mention, it's funny. I don't know, but back when we were working the parts store, I was maybe 140, 150 pounds. I'm around 230 now. So, and I'm not as lean as I would be on stage, competition weight, but, I'm about as lean as I can walk around at and be comfortable and not be miserable, and sustainable. But it does also come with a little bit of, I don't want to say detriments to your health necessarily, but I do sleep on a CPAP. You mentioned that you do. I do too. I guess
I need to. I don't.
Oh, you don't? Okay. Well, I do. I've been on one for 3 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Every night?
Yeah. Sleep apnea. I mean, that's one thing that a lot of them deal with. Funny thing is, back in 2016, I competed as a middleweight, and I weighed in at 175. And pretty lean. I was in basically, contest shape. And I wanted to try to see if I could sleep without it, without waking up choking or whatever, or stop breathing. I thought, well, man, as lean as I'm going to get, this is the light I'm going to get. Man, I was asleep maybe 20, 30 minutes, and wife's bumping me saying, you're not breathing. At 175 pounds, I'm going, God.
Wow.
But I've got a small frame, man. I'm not supposed to weigh this much.
So what does that have to do with it?
I guess it's just all this. I don't want to say I've got a lot of muscle or whatever, but I'm
all the extra muscle.
Same reason I go through it, dude. Is your body is not equipped when you're laying down. You have that pressure.
Yeah.
Your body, my body, even this big frame as I am, it's not made to carry this kind of weight. I'm carrying that much extra weight.
Yeah.
Is that your body's like, no, man,
pretty
much
made
for that.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Well, I learned that.
Yeah.
But another thing too is I'm on 2 different types of blood pressure medicine.
Really?
I think it's genetic. I think I was always going to have a little bit of issue with that. But again, that extra weight, it's more stress on your system and on your organs, your heart, stuff like that. So, it's not like it's the most healthy thing in the world when you take it to this extreme, So,
but it's kind of cooler to say that you're suffering from these health problems for your condition versus suffering from my condition.
Yeah.
Maybe
when people are like, Hardy, quit working so hard, and for me, they're like,
quit eating so much.
Quit eating so damn much. You know what I mean? Back off, bro. Peanut butter Snickers are killing you.
So, do you have any competitions coming up, or do you have a competition coming up?
Might do one next year.
Next year.
I'm not in any hurry to suffer right now.
So when you do, you're gonna compete at the 175 level?
No, gosh, no.
I don't think you can get down that small anymore.
2017. Let's see, October 2017, I was 190 on stage.
Oh, okay.
So that was a light heavy. I'd like to be a heavyweight when I come back, and that would be around like the 200s. What is that? I don't know. Above 198.
So you wouldn't have to cut as much.
I still have to probably cut as much.
Really?
Yeah. It's just the levels keep going up. Because I'm walking around a certain amount of body fat. No matter if I'm smaller or bigger. So I'll probably still have to cut maybe 30 pounds or something like that. So it just constantly kind of goes up like a graph.
See, man, that to me that's tells more about that level of commitment. Like you're talking about next year. You know what I mean? You're like, in a year.
Yeah. Well, it's just, I don't know. A lot of us either go into it too soon, which I did in my first contest. I definitely did that. I went in too soon. But there's weak areas that you want to work on. This is getting real technical into, some psychotic crap now. But, I need more back development. So I'm trying to get that caught up with the rest of my body. So when you stand up next to a guy and he's perfectly symmetrical and he looks great, and you've got one body part that's not as developed as the rest, that dude's going to win all day long, Not to mention, my frame is not really built for bodybuilding. I'm narrow in the shoulders genetically, like your structure, and not necessarily have the most tiny waist. I don't have a big blocky waist, but it's not the smallest as far as hip structure goes. So I've got to put on extra tissue, muscle, to maybe compensate for that. So a guy could be maybe 10 pounds lighter than me, but he's got that wider shoulder structure, so he's going to make everything look wider, and he's just going to look more pleasing to the eye.
Yeah.
So, genetically, I'm not really that good for bodybuilding. I probably won't ever be that great, but I just want to see how far I can take it,
Oh yeah, that's. I mean, like I said, I mean, the commitment alone speaks to your own personality and that kind of thing like that. To me, I have tremendous respect for people that can, because coming from a background, a guy that I've went through periods of time where I lifted, and never could see it through or whatever.
Yeah.
And always, it's almost like guys that say, well, I should have joined the military. I'm one of those guys that says that too.
Right.
But it's like all those shoulda, coulda, wouldas, I'm like, what could I have been? Of course, I have scoliosis, so nothing about me symmetrical, so I never would have made a bodybuilder at all. But I always wanted to see, because I gained muscle pretty easily. I always thought, oh man, if I would have stuck with it, what could I have turned out to be? So it's neat to see somebody, especially somebody that I know, get to this level. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's pretty impressive.
Well, I appreciate you taking that on that level, because I don't see myself that way. I'm like, man, I need to be much better and bigger and blah blah blah, all this stuff. So
That's what I'm saying. I'm surely, whenever someone's in really great shape, or I know for myself, if I'm walking around and I see somebody that's pretty big and everything, I always wonder, should I know them from somewhere?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it's always that these people are exceptional that can do that kind of stuff.
Right.
So it's always like, is that guy, is he an athlete, or is he, what is he? Is that guy something that,
I'll tell you right now, I'm the furthest thing from an athlete. I trip over my own feet, man.
Well, I don't know, man. I mean, I still think, and I've heard that argument a bunch of times about bodybuilding being whether it's athletic or not or whatever.
That's definitely not.
Dude, no. I have to say, I think it is, I mean, like some of the stuff I see you put on Instagram where you're out there working. I mean, not everybody can just do that stuff.
Probably could, but
it's not like CrossFit, you know what I mean? Where CrossFit's like you win awards for working out. Oh, I can work out the fastest. I can work out the longest.
I got respect for that too, though. But
I just give Ben crap over.
I don't compete. I'm very competitive, and that's one thing I'm not going to be competitive at is CrossFit ever.
I don't blame you.
Oh, honestly, whenever I was working out with Ben and his father-in-law doing CrossFit stuff, I loved it. It was really right up my alley, as far as I've always been wanting to do something I'm not strong at. That's why bodybuilding for me would have been. It sounds like I'm trying to brag about my body type. I'm not trying to. I'm just saying I've always gained muscle easily, so I never wanted to do that. I always wanted to be able to run a long ways, or to be able to do pull-ups and that kind of thing like that. Because when people look at me, they go, "You're not going to do very many pull-ups." I'm like, "Oh yeah, well, kiss my balls, I will."
Yeah,
what I mean? Somehow, some way. So, and that's why it always appealed to me. I like it. I just give Ben crap.
That's an interesting point, because, and I'm not trying to brag, but once I got on drums, it was more natural. It just kind of picked up and took off. It took practice, it took dedication and stuff, but it was a little easier for me to, this bodybuilding thing's different. I mean, this was the actual challenge. Like, I've got to push myself. I've got to, try not to get too heavy in off season and eat the right stuff. Even because I see a lot of the guys that I'm friends with, they stay lean all the time.
Yeah.
They may have to lose 10 pounds and they get on stage and they look great and they'll win. That's not the case with me. I can't eat like I was when I was 20,
Well, and guys like that, correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, those guys aren't going to get gains like you would if you're eating more.
Yeah.
Like, don't mind what you're looking like so much whenever you're between competitions.
Right,
or whatever.
right. For me, it's a balancing act. I don't want to get too heavy where I have to lose. And believe me, there's been a couple shows where I've had to lose like damn near 60 pounds.
Yeah.
Wow.
And didn't look too sloppy, but you start peeling that off, you start to realize how much you really got underneath there, and sometimes it's surprising. So, I'm just trying to get to where I still look presentable, decent composition. Maybe look like I actually do this instead of just being too heavy or whatever. But and I'll tell people, all the time they're talking about, oh, you're so dedicated and I respect it and this and that. I'm just like, I'm just some guy that just had this is just my hobby.
Well, it's just it's an unusual thing to me,
especially around here.
Yeah,
sure, I see that.
When you get in big, I'll say that I'll agree with you that when you get in bigger cities, you see a lot of people who are in good shape, or some guys that are pretty big and that kind of thing like that. But definitely in Southeast Oklahoma,
Well, most people's hobbies are only lasting a few weeks.
Yeah,
and then they may
unless
pick
it's
them
drinking
up.
beer,
Right?
Everybody loves to do that.
And that's every day.
That's a lifelong thing.
So do you? How many competitions have you been in? I find myself talking too fast.
I haven't done that many because I feel like I need. Yeah, me too. I did. Let's see, 2011, 2012. I waited till 2016 to my next one. I did 2 in 2017, so that's 5. out of 9 years or so.
And so every time you had to put the thong on, right?
Yeah.
And the first time, how did you feel about that?
When I had to do it in public, it was a little bit scary.
Really?
We had to do a weigh-in the night before in the first show. And my wife, she felt weird too because she was pregnant with Brixton at the time. So she's, 7-8 months pregnant. And she's around all these people that are lean with abs and stuff. And she kind of felt weird about it. But more than likely, we're just looking at her like, oh, she's pregnant. They thought it was cute or whatever. But she's all self-conscious and stuff. Well, we're at weigh-ins and they call each class up or whatever. And it's finally time. I've got to strip down and be in, because you need to make a weight class. So you want to be at least, you don't want to be naked, but you're going to have just your trunks on because you don't want all that extra weight or whatever of clothes. And I go and I was like, oh man, I'm dreading it, right? But I'm thinking, well, man, I'm going to be up in front of everybody on stage doing that the next day.
You better get used to it now.
Right. So I did. I stripped down, but the funny thing was I see everybody else doing it. I'm just like, oh, it ain't no big deal. And I finally just got over it and, done it. I don't know. It's weird.
What color was the first one?
Purple.
Why'd
Can you imagine that?
I love purple. And is that why you chose purple?
Yeah, of course.
Wilburton Diggers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
I've mostly done black and purple.
Black and purple?
Yeah. That's the only trunks I've ever owned.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that what you call them, trunks?
Yeah.
You call them thongs, huh?
No, I don't call them thongs. Banana hammocks, whatever.
I mean, it is what it is.
Correct.
Trunks are like boxing shorts, right?
I think they're trying to unsexualize it as much as possible. You know what I mean?
Of course they are.
Which,
Which makes no sense.
No, of course not. Shoot. But yeah, I tell people when it's not fun anymore, I want to stop. I'll go to something else like competing in donut eating contest. Or,
Oh gosh. I'm about that life.
Pot smoking contest or something.
I've never smoked pot before, but
I have.
Everybody get their medical card on that shit now, though.
I haven't really talked about the whole Oklahoma. Here's the current law. Here's the current thing.
Yeah.
But I won't really get into it. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, you're conservative and you're I think that's a common misconception about conservative
this
people.
Is my look on it. If it replaces like opioids and stuff that's manufactured, especially for these older folks that are in pain all the time, if something that comes out of the ground is grown naturally can do the same thing as that, it's a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer.
That's
exactly right.
That was sensationalized through the years,
Yes.
And it being illegal made it, morally wrong. I don't know.
I do know. And
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. I had my granny died in 98. And this is how I started off. My granny died in 98. She could have benefited greatly from it. And my grandpa died in 2010. Once again, and it was brought to him. The idea was, hey, not by me, but hey, I'll get you some pot. Dad, if you need some pot, I'll get you some.
Like from a pain management
For
stance.
pain management. Yeah, he was in terrible pain. And he was like, nope, not going to do it. He didn't want that to follow him, oh yeah.
The stigma of it.
Right.
He smoked pot, while he was on cancer or whatever. He had cancer. So he just turned it down, but and it makes me, it just makes me mad.
Sure,
That my grandpa suffered when he didn't really have to.
Sure. Right.
As bad. And so I'm all for it.
I agree.
Anyway, but marijuana, the stigma that goes along with it, to me, I mean, I've never known, and I've known plenty of people that smoked pot before it was legal and after, and I've never known of anybody selling their babies to get it, or, you know what I mean? It's not you can't really equate it with a lot of the dangerous things. It's always been, even whenever I was young and in high school, it was more like beer, and it was that common.
Yep.
I mean, it was of course you could always get in trouble for it or whatever. But, But I guess it makes it easier for me because that stigma, it was there as far as it being illegal and that kind of thing. But I mean, as far as it's something to look down upon, I think that generation is, a generation of people, obviously, that can see, especially if there's benefits to it. What are we waiting for, or what are we holding back? I mean, it's kind of I don't want to say it's a dying breed of people, but it's like it's beginning to make its way out where it's more acceptable.
Right. Well,
it's a good thing.
It's always been a partially, they're conservative people are to blame. And I think there's way more conservative people that are for it than you would think.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, 'cause
Well,
of what's happened.
Well, even like my mom the other day, we were talking about it, and the first thing she said, she goes, "Well, it's every pothead in the world wants that to pass," and I'm like, well, I mean, I'm sure there's recreational people that are, thanking God and waiting on it to be recreational in Oklahoma and all those kind of things. Like, you're going to have that level of people that are going to want that, but I mean, already, no longer than it's been a thing, you're already starting to hear these stories. I mean, I've talked to people, numerous people who are like, no, man, my wife or my husband or blah, blah, blah has been using it, and it's changed these things for them.
Yes.
These benefits have been seen, and people that are like afraid for people to find out about it are having benefits. So, I mean, it's almost like it's the argument of the stigma is beginning to lose its validity.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's
Yes.
just kind of going away.
Well, there's people that I know, without getting too deep into it and getting personal, but there's people in their 60s and 70s that I know that you'd never suspect, and they got their card. And guess what? They're the same way. They're like, that's the best decision I ever made. Why didn't this happen years ago? Why was this illegal?
Yeah, exactly. Shout out to Trent Hardaway for guessing Travis Hood as our previous guest.
Oh yeah,
He was like the only one that get. Oh no, Hardy did too, but
yeah, but I'm sure you told him who it was.
No, I
know
didn't.
you too.
No, I guess
I know
Josh.
how you. I know. Yeah, you did.
you think I'm going to call up Trent and tell him the right answer? Give me.
I would like to know
break.
how on God's green earth he could have guessed.
So
I
you
really want to know.
Okay, so he sent me a message, and I'll show it to you.
And you said, "Oh yeah, Travis."
Nope. I said.
If you want the shout out, say Travis Hood. Yes, I know you guys.
No, I said my words exactly was comment on Instagram or Facebook to find out. I did not tell him the right answer. So you thought I told him the answer?
I know you did.
I'm.
At the end of the day, I know damn good and well you did.
I swear on everything, I did not tell
probably
him.
inadvertently. You're probably like, yeah, we had Travis on.
He
this
never
week,
even would
da-da-da.
say Travis Hood. He said T Hood.
Yeah, that's what
I was like.
That's what Dustin always called him, forever and a day.
Well,
that's how I knew it by.
Well, that's pretty cool, but I did not tell him the answer. That's a true story. I would not listen. The last thing I'm gonna do is help that dude out with the right answer.
Whatever,
And
dude.
he'll tell you. Ben was not going to tell me. Come on. Well, I mean, he guessed it right off the bat. Why would I?
Because you told him already. That's why.
Not true.
You're like, all right, man. Listen, we need somebody to get this shout out. So just get on there and guess T Hood.
I would have told somebody else. I would have told somebody else that hadn't been
Well,
on
I tried to guess and you wouldn't let me. That's bullshit. I think. Whatever. All your rules.
Well,
I'm
you
not
guys
giving you a
posted
shout
this,
out.
and I should have got it because it's a set list.
Dude, it's
And I
an
was like-
old set list.
Yeah.
You guessed Josh though.
Yeah, I did.
That was a good guess.
Yeah.
That was a really
It's going to
good
happen
guess.
sooner or later.
Definitely.
I hope.
Him come on?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I hope.
Yeah. He's wanting to come on.
I don't care if it's via satellite. I got to hear him talk.
Yeah.
I haven't heard him talk in a long time.
Yeah.
You want to hear? Did you ever watch the Bigfoot video?
I got bits and pieces of it, and that was highly entertaining. I got to go back and watch the whole thing, though.
It's very funny.
It is one of the
Very
funniest
funny.
things I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, yeah.
You know, when you can take something like that that's going to be personally funny to people that you know, and you can play it for people that don't know anybody in it, and those people laugh. When you can make my father laugh
Oh, yeah.
at something.
Your dad laughed?
Yes. When Josh goes,
Oh, at
eat
Bigfoot.
eat a bowl of Rice Krispies, my dad laughed his balls off.
Man,
He's gonna be pissed at me
Every time we
because I
talk
said
about the
that,
video, I have to reiterate: we did not
Plan any
plan
of it.
any of that video.
But if people know, if
None of
anybody
it.
that knows Josh,
Oh, anybody
knows
knows Josh,
that,
right.
Yes, that makes absolute
Sure,
sense for him to
of
say
course.
something like that.
But for me to keep it together like I did,
Yeah.
it was totally. I couldn't do it again.
Planets
no.
aligned for that deal, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, it couldn't be better. I've said it 100
was
times.
literally, hey, let's make a Bigfoot video.
Yeah.
Okay. My brother did the commentary, as the newscaster or whatever, and then we went right outside and boom, shot it.
Yeah.
One take. That was one take. That was not two. That was not three. We've made a lot of videos, and sometimes I'm like, I can't. I'll bust out laughing, and we'll have to start over.
Yeah.
But that was the one video I think it's the only video we ever did that was just one take.
Well,
That's all you need with him.
Right.
Man,
Exactly.
yeah, definitely that improv stuff. Yeah.
So your wife also got into bodybuilding.
Yes. Yeah.
So when did she get into bodybuilding?
It's been about 3-4 years ago. Yeah.
Is she liking it?
Yes.
Is she is it hard for her? Is for you? You know, like the whole
Genetics?
right.
She's got better genetics than I do.
I didn't
100%.
I didn't want to say that.
She,
You know,
no,
like,
she's tougher than I am.
Really?
Yeah, she can endure a lot more than I can. She's one of the toughest people, if not the toughest person I know.
So when you guys do competitions, they're not always like on the same day, are they, or the same time frame? Or
You mean her?
Yes.
No, and I was going to get into that. She's only done one so far, but we plan on doing one together next year if we do one next year.
That means she does her own and you do your own, but it's about the same time? Or
Yeah, it's in the same show. She's just in a different class.
Oh, okay.
You know, obviously, she's not going to, yeah.
Well, I didn't know if they had like, and I'm being totally
Oh God,
stupid
I know where
here.
this is coming from.
I didn't know if they had like a couple.
Oh, you're talking about a couples competition.
Did they have couples competition?
There's a few shows, I think, in the...
But they're fitness. They're not bodybuilding. They're fitness shows, aren't they?
Well, they're both. I mean, you get like her class. What she competes in is figure, so it's like women with a little bit of muscle, not a whole lot, but enough for them to look muscular, right? But they're still looking for like the beauty part of it and all that stuff. You don't have to, basically take male hormones to get as large as a man, obviously. So it's more streamlined, look. But the thing is like prepping for a show is really grueling, like mentally, and you feel like you're dying at points. We've not went down that road at the same time, and we're planning on probably doing that at the same time.
I'm wondering if it's better that way.
Well, I don't know. I never wanted to do that together.
Is she gonna have to cut too?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Not as much as I will. But
Yeah.
Dude, that would be tough. You think about it from her perspective, as far as you're just trying to put on as much mass as you can, whereas she's got to have more of a balance, I guess you'd say.
Yeah,
or
I'd
whatever.
say so.
Because you can always lose what extra, I guess, body fat or whatever that you gain.
Yeah.
But she's got to almost kind of more calculating. It seems like to me it would be.
Yeah.
But what's the hardest part? The cutting part?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And so you guys, it's going to be hard, but maybe it's going to be easier because you guys are going to both be about eating the same thing, right?
Well, yeah, but one thing I was going to mention is, when we've never planned on doing one together because the other one's going to hold down the household while the other one's laying on the couch about to pass out.
Right.
Now we're thinking about going down that road at the same time, and we're just going to play it by ear.
So do you guys know other people that or other couples or whatever that do it? So do you get advice from them? Like,
we just both know what we're getting into, and we're both going to be feeling really cruddy at some point, closer to the show. So I don't know. We'll just see what happens. One thing I know for sure is we're not gonna beat each other's throats because we won't have enough energy for that crap. I know for me, a few weeks out, I don't want to do anything but just make it through the day.
Really?
So even if I'm aggravated about something, I ain't got no energy to even argue. I don't.
Really?
Nah. So we'll get along really well. People are like, "Oh, you're gonna be mad at each other." No, I'm more worried about who's gonna clean the litter box that day. Who's going to crawl in there and get to that, It's probably going to be Brixton. We'll probably just get him to do it.
How old is he?
He's 7.
He's 7?
Yeah,
he'll be ready.
Stuff now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, give him another year. He's good to go.
Yeah. Well, you start training now. Like, this is how you do this, and this is you got to think about all that stuff that you're not going to be able to do, and you got to get that
all of it
7-year-old or 8-year-old to do.
We'll teach her to cook our meals and stuff.
And you've got a 7-year-old, and you've got an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe he's 18.
It's ridiculous.
That's crazy.
Ridiculous. And you know what? He's one of the coolest people I know.
Really?
Like well,
if he's anything like you.
Nah, he's way better than me.
Really?
But yeah, he's
good.
That's what we're all hoping for, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, oh man, this dude is so much better than me.
He's got it together.
Yeah.
He's got it together, and he's just got this great personality. He gets along with anybody, and just I don't know, man. He's just a cool kid. Well, he's a man now. I got to get used to that.
No, he's still a kid.
Yeah.
18-year-old, you're still a kid.
Sure.
I still feel like a kid.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of am.
I struggle with it. My son's almost 17, so I know what you're talking about. It's just like, dude, I remember when you were a baby.
I know.
I remember when you were born, bro.
When you have great parents, you're going to have good kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that helps. That goes a long ways.
Yeah.
a very long ways.
Well, his mom's great too.
Yeah.
I mean, she's done a fantastic job with him.
Yeah.
So, you know.
And y'all get along and
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's man, that makes all the difference in the world.
Everything's worked out perfect.
Yeah.
It really has. Yeah.
So what's his plans now?
I'm happy about this. He's getting the medical field too.
Really?
He's going for X-ray tech.
Wow.
So
Awesome.
yeah,
Nice.
he's going to have it made. His girlfriend actually not talked to me. He was influenced to do that by her because she
really?
was wanting to do that.
No, so she's gonna do it too.
Yeah. She's a grade under him, so she'll
Hmm.
graduate next year, I believe. So
Where's she from?
from down there, Buffalo
Oh.
Valley. Yeah, just right down the road.
Dude, it's awesome. Could you imagine being in control of yourself enough to know what you wanted to do at 18 years old?
No.
Where would you be at 40? You know, if you could be at 18 and people say what they want to say about this generation of kids that don't do anything or whatever you want to say. But dude, think about how many kids you know now who are like, oh yeah, I'm going to school for this as soon as I graduate.
The majority of them.
It's crazy.
Starts with good parents.
Yeah, it's definitely a different. I remember being when I was 18 years old, dude. I was just looking for parties. I was not.
Oh yeah.
Not thinking about what I was going to do for a living.
Well, I just did not. It was not there in me to actually do it. It's like the bodybuilding thing or CrossFit or anything.
Yeah.
You know, it was not there. I mean,
it legitimately did not cross my mind. Like I could give a damn.
Well, in
about what I was gonna do
high
for a
school
living.
during lunch hour, I would go in the library and read books about careers.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I know it's crazy. It sounds.
I was pretty much like I am now. Like there was no thought going into anything I did.
And
I was like, wake up, new day, yay!
Yeah. I remember you doing that.
I had all the.
I was like, he's crazy as hell.
Well, I had it up here that that I needed to figure it out, and I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
I just didn't know what it took, and I didn't have what it took.
No.
I was not ready to put in what it took in anything.
Yeah. I
was
didn't go to
just like,
college until I was 30. I started at 30 years old. I'm a bit of a late bloomer.
Do you think it was harder then or easier? Because see, I took my and I say I'm going to cut you off before I'm going to ask you a question and I'm going to cut you off.
That's fine.
But I took
I
took my I took my ACT like 4 years or 5 years out of high school for the first time, and I was like shocked. Not that it was easy, but it was easier than it would have been in high school. As weird and odd as that sounds, it seems like just stuff clicked a lot better and a lot easier.
Yeah.
And I didn't score, I didn't score genius level or anything close to it, but I had a decent score. And so I was like, wow. And even when I started taking, I sat down, I was so scared.
Right.
I didn't study for it or anything.
Right.
I just sat down and started, and I was like, wow, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Surely, it was just weird. But anyways.
Well, that like you were saying about going to college whenever you're 30. My granddad was a pharmacist, but he didn't go to pharmacy school until he was in his 30s. He was like in his mid 30s. He was a high school chemistry teacher, so he went to school to teach. But I mean, actually doing what he did for the rest of his life, he was in his 30s before he did. So it's.
So do you think it was easier for you than it would have been when you first got out of college?
I know I had the work ethic that I wouldn't have at 18, for sure. The focus and everything else.
I know you got kids by that point, and bills and all that, so that makes it harder. But the actual schoolwork itself,
I don't think it was any harder. I did have to take a few remedial classes.
Really,
algebra was one.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I mean, because that just if you don't retain it, basically. I mean, if you're not using it every day, it's going to go out the window. So I definitely had to do that. But other than that, no, not really. Because, the thing is like, I did well in school. No, not in high school. I didn't, because I had to go back and get my transcript. And I looked at it and I'm just shaking my head like, man, they're not even going to let me even step foot in college, man.
Yeah.
But, you just put the work in, and you'll get good grades. I don't have any superior intelligence by any means, but I work my ass off, and that's how I made it. That's how I made it happen. Yeah, that's the only reason. Yeah, definitely.
Well, and you got more of a focus on you were trying to get somewhere, whereas having a family and doing that to kind of further your family. I mean, that's always a better driving force than well, hell, I'm got nothing else to do. Might as well go to college.
Yeah, I mean, take psychology like everybody else does. Nothing against that, but I was looking for something like when I get out of here, I'm going to work. You know, and I want more money than I did, and I want to have something that's going to be career versus just something to get me by. You know, so that's basically, you know, in a nutshell, that was my mentality going in, and I put the work in. And, you know, I didn't do anything special. It's just like I said, you know, you have good work ethic, and you'll make it.
That's the beauty of education, man.
Yeah.
Is, you know, once you got that thing, nobody can take it away from you. It's a done deal.
It's true.
And that piece of paper will go a long ways further than a resume full of things that you've done, it seems. You know.
When speaking of resume, when you make your resume out, do you put on the resume that you were a founding member of the Sweet 17 Task Force?
Yeah. I mean, that's the first thing I put on there.
Right.
Why wouldn't you?
Right.
I mean, I mentioned your name, and they're like, "Well, you're automatically in." Cause that dude's a badass. He made it. You know, several miles down a hill, and he didn't kill anybody. So, I mean, you're hanging with that guy. Okay.
I mean, we're up there trying to get the acetone. You know what I mean?
Of course we are.
And Melvin was behind it all.
Yeah.
You know, and but he was covert.
He was communicating through the fiber optics that we had at the time.
Yes.
We had that technology, although it was in a 68 Dodge van.
Right.
So. Yeah, how does that happen?
Well, we try to, you know, we told him, listen, we're, you know, the engine's done.
Yeah.
We need you to send a chopper in to get us.
Yeah.
And the chopper was down.
Yeah.
So he was like, you guys are on your own.
They went down the hill and they crashed, but we made it.
Right.
Yeah, you guys had the perfect cover if you think about it. I mean, no one would have thought, as dumb as you guys look, that you would have actually been smart. You know,
at the end. Ragtag team.
Yeah, for real.
Sure.
For real. You know, when we were at the parts store, this was all around the same time we were at the parts store. Anytime someone come in to buy some acetone, no, we're marking your name down because we know what you're up to. You know, we know what you're up to, and that was our acetone. You know, that was our acetone.
Did you ever wear the uniforms outside of work? I mean,
that came off as soon as I left the building. It came off before I left the building.
Oh, okay.
I left them on sometimes. Just because I just didn't want to mess with it. I went to parties and stuff sometimes with that because, I don't know.
Hell yeah, why wouldn't you?
No, I'm just saying I never did.
Why not?
I wanted it off.
What was the deal?
It was too restrictive, man.
It was.
Oh, yeah, it's too restrictive.
It was a button-up shirt after all, if I remember right. So
yeah, they wanted us dressing like we were in a 5-star restaurant or something. Like, we're just peddling parts, man.
Right, we're just peddling parts and acetone.
Yeah.
Listen, we're there's a Sweet 16 task force, right? Mainly stationed at the time in LaFleur County. Mm-hmm. Okay, and this is before I got in law enforcement. So we formed
this was his entry into law enforcement.
We formed our own. You know, screw it, let's do it. Yep. You know, and so there was acetone and there was heat. We had heat there too.
We had heat. We had road flares.
We had road flares.
Yeah.
And
what was 17 of what?
I mean, 16 was next door, so it was already taken.
16 was taken, so we went 17. Okay. What's hilarious?
Melvin was the 17th member.
Right.
Actually, he was the number one.
You know what's funny is, we did that, and then later on I met my wife, and her password, I shouldn't say this on the air, but she's changed it recently, but her password to a lot of her stuff was Sweet 17.
Really?
Yes.
That's trippy.
Totally unrelated.
Really?
Yeah, totally unrelated. Like, she didn't know anything about that until I started showing pictures.
It was meant to be, man.
It was. That's when I knew. I was like, I was going to marry her.
She's the one.
That's a really odd coincidence.
Yeah, it really is.
And now I'm thinking maybe she was working in headquarters the whole time and just didn't know about it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, by now she should have told you, right? But that's really part of the whole
covert, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, nobody breaks their cover, I wouldn't think.
No. I mean, even though we've told you a little bit, we haven't told you everything.
You don't know everything there is to know.
Not even close.
I mean, even when I'm pounding her in the bedroom, she still won't talk about it. I'm thinking that's your most vulnerable time. I'm in charge, and that's dedication.
Right?
Where'd you get your password?
And she told me, don't embarrass me on the podcast, and that's one for you.
She's a good agent. She's a good
sport, man.
Yeah, for real. Sweet 17, man. That's where it's at.
Yeah.
I mean, LJ's not in it, but maybe we could. Maybe we don't know.
Let's revamp it.
We're gonna have to do some missions.
The only way I'm getting in it is if the sweet means sweets are involved. Okay?
I'm with you there, man.
Me too. Me too.
I'm not so much on the acetone anymore. I'm on the donuts. Yeah, for sure.
I love donuts. I don't get to eat them as much, especially in the beach season. Beach season. I'll say that.
So we had talked about the old sexy Samoan. Trent Hardaway.
I gave him a shout out, and that's all I.
Posing as a Native American this whole time he's been Samoan. He knows it, and he keeps denying it.
When you commented that, he didn't know what you were talking about.
No one does.
Right.
Just being you and him, pretty much.
But now we do.
Yeah.
Now everybody knows.
Yeah, everybody knows. I mean, come on. He's Samoan.
He is.
Just own up to it.
Right.
Yeah.
He's still not owning up to it. No. He's a pretty good agent, too, I guess. Well, what haven't we talked about so far?
I don't know, man.
Anything you were wanting to hit on?
Not really, except, me and you have had a pretty good bond. We've not always been together all the time like you and Trent and Scotty. I've been more like the floater friend, like the token white guy.
From what I could tell, you were a little too focused, maybe a little too.
That's what I was going to say. He's always got something going on.
Maybe having your shit together too well.
Yeah. Later in life.
Yeah.
Later in life. No, I was more scattered than them at the beginning in earlier days. Yeah. Well, I hung with everybody, and I was going to tell you, I when I first met Lucas, it was at a party. I'm pretty sure out at Donnie's Land when he first started having parties out there. You remember that?
Oh Lord, yeah.
And the old guy hanging out with the young guys. Okay, cool.
Well, no, he
wasn't that big a gap.
No, I was a young guy.
It was a huge gap.
No, it wasn't that big. He was out there with guys his age.
Well, if you were the young guy and you're older than me, so you were really old because if it's a Donnelly's party. I was there. It was our party.
Man,
and then this old guy shows up and hangs out with us.
I was under 21. Okay,
I think so. I think so because this was like
maybe
late 90s,
early
2000s.
Are you just trying to say you didn't supply minors with beers? You weren't.
I've supplied plenty of minors with beers.
He supplied me that night.
Dude,
he taught me a couple of things because.
What did he teach you?
Well,
let's get on it.
I'm trying to remember who it was that I knew in your particular group at the time. But I don't even know. It was. I know them all now, but at the time, it was like I know that guy. I'm gonna go.
Was this when we played out there? Was that?
No, I don't think. This was before I knew you as a musician or anything.
Oh Lord!
But the funny thing was,
I'm terrified of this.
A lot of my. No, it's not that big.
This path is so scary.
You tell the story.
Well,
you do what you like.
The funny thing is like I never thought I was tough or anything, and I was a small guy, but I wasn't afraid to go up to like the bigger dudes that everybody's afraid of. I just go and just start talking to them and
the fat dudes.
The bigger guys.
who are the dudes that people are afraid of? I don't know these people, man.
The guys you were hanging with.
Oh yeah, there were some guys I hung around with. They were
God, with
God.
Keith Dill.
Yeah,
that dude was monstrous.
He was
I was
a monster.
afraid of him until I
huge.
met him, and he was like a teddy bear. But yeah. Well, a bunch of you guys. It might have been him. I can't remember, but a bunch of you guys. And I just started walking over there, and first thing is, you looked at me. You said, "You ain't got a beer." I said, "No, I don't actually." He said, "Well, you're gonna hang out here over with us. Something." What did you say? If you're gonna hang out with us, man, you're gonna be shotgunning that shit. And you put the hole in it with a key and handed it to me.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
Then I became an alcoholic after that. Thanks, buddy.
Well, they said you're just supposed to show him a good time, not ruin his life.
You're right.
Yeah.
No, because one more beer and I've been passed out anyway. So always a lightweight. Always.
I don't remember you at parties, but I guess I wouldn't go over there around you because
my drive.
I was like, what's my dad's friends doing here?
Yeah.
Yeah. We did have facial hair, and we were, in the range of 6 foot tall or something like that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That was the land of giants.
So if I was 16 at the time, I'm guessing I was 16.
Yeah, you would have been a small child.
I would have been a small
You're cruising
child.
around in the old blue and white.
Blue and white.
Yep.
It was our little patch of the world was very testosterone driven. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It pushed a lot of people away because it was all about. I didn't have a hairy chest at the time, but it was it was that macho that really.
Yeah.
Everybody hated us. You know what I'm saying? And I don't blame them. You know what I mean? Hostile environment. You know what I'm saying? That we thought was funny for some stupid reason. Wait till we get Chris Turner on here. He can back me up on some of the stuff. You know what I mean?
Oh man, I really like that guy too. I haven't seen him in years.
Oh yeah, he's the same old guy. Well, and I think he had something to do with getting me on my alcoholic pathway.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
Believe it or not, he's older than I am.
Yeah, he worked out the Easy Mart out there on 6 Mile Lane, and I didn't know him real well, but I just started going over there just hanging out with him because he was working night shift. He was bored as shit, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Mr. Quick.
Yeah, it was Mr. Quick then. That's right. Yep.
Dude,
Well, that may have been Easy Mart.
Yeah, whatever it was.
I think it was Easy Mart when he was working out there. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, he was an easy guy to know, man. Still is. Still,
Yeah.
you know, really easy dude to
Yeah.
be around or whatever. Definitely not somebody to jack with.
No.
That was an interesting paradox of his personality. And we can get into that when he's on here too, about how he's just don't mess with him.
Nah.
You know, if you don't mess with him, this dude, you have nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just don't figure out the ways to piss him off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Don't poke him with a stick.
I mean, I hate to admit it. I was scared of this dude. Very scared of him.
Damn.
Even in my, most craziest of heydays. Yeah, that dude was, he'd take it to another level. Him and Keith both, they had the capacity, where you can get mad and you get here, where these guys get up here. You know what I mean? Like, don't care.
That's dangerous, man.
Yeah, those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway.
Big dudes.
Old days.
Yeah.
Really old days. What level are you as far as like semi-pro? Where are you at?
What,
Pro?
bodybuilding?
Yeah.
Oh, peon.
Like novice, or I don't even know.
Well,
All
there's amateur level and national level, and then there's like a pro level. But there's always, that varies, from placing to placing. I've done some state shows, but I placed first a couple times when, it was not much competition there. But no, I don't have a very good record. I'm not good at it.
What's the do you have to win certain types of shows to be ranked a certain way? Or?
You got to place top 2 in an open class at a national qualifier, at a state level show, and that qualifies you to go to a national level show. And then you go and place, top 2 in your class at a national level show, and then you're eligible for a pro status.
Well, the only it's interesting to me because I mean the only people I've ever heard talk about it, because I've never been close to anybody that was like that were what I would consider a bodybuilder. You know, what I mean, there's people that work out and things like that, but
Right.
The only people I've ever heard talk about it was like Arnold Schwarzenegger talk, and usually he was like talking shit on somebody,
Right, of course.
He didn't win this, and this, so he could never be this,
Right.
And so that I never understood how that.
The hierarchy.
Yeah, how you step up.
No,
or
I'm just
whatever,
straight
but-
amateur level. I don't have any aspirations of going pro. I think I'm too old first, and second, again, I just don't have the genetics for it. I just want to see how far I can take it. If I could squeak out an overall win at a state level show one day, that's probably my biggest goal, and that may or may not happen. It depends on if there's prettier guys that show up,
But to me, I mean, I know you're being exceptionally modest, I have to admit.
I'm being
in my
realistic
eyes,
too, though.
But I mean, you see guys like someone like Lee Priest, for instance, that to me, if there's anybody who got shortchanged genetically, to me, I mean, that guy, you talk about somebody that's small framed in my mind. I mean, that guy,
but it works to his advantage because he
Yeah.
does have a good structure as far as width goes.
Yeah.
He may only be like 5'4" or whatever, but as far as genetic goes, that kid, I say kid, he's older than me, but when he was like 17, he turned pro.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like he could put on muscles so fast and shred down, and just he had enough gifts to get him to that level very very young.
Yeah.
I actually got to meet him last year at the Olympia.
Really?
It was pretty neat. Yeah, he's just a normal guy. I was
Yeah.
like, man, I just appreciate all the things you've done for bodybuilding. He said, I ain't done much. Australian accent.
Yeah.
I ain't done much, but thanks.
Aren't most of the guys normal guys? You know what I mean? Like guys
yeah.
that you looked up to or look up to, and
Yeah.
or you think that maybe their mindset may be on a different level, and it may be on a different level when it comes to their craft. But
Yeah.
I don't think Arnold Schwarzenegger's a regular guy. I don't think he was ever regular.
Larger than life.
he got
he
kicked,
doesn't strike me as
kicked like he
regular.
was one. I mean, he got drop kicked like he was a
He
regular
didn't
guy.
fall.
He didn't go down.
He did not. No,
Hey,
he didn't.
that's
But the guy
70
dropped.
That
That's the
70-year-old man did not fall.
No, he thought he was
Find
just getting
another
bumped into.
70-year-old man that could get double kicked in the back.
Right.
And even if he fall, and he kind of fell into some people and didn't fall.
Yeah.
But I mean, what 70-year-old man is going to get kicked in the back and not be injured from it?
I think
You
if
know what I'm
Sam Taylor
saying?
was still around, he'd probably
Well, yeah, Sam Taylor would have caught him in midair. Though.
chokehold.
What's wrong with you? You know what I mean?
Oh man, I would not pick the fight with him.
Hey,
Oh,
I want to talk about a funny story having to do with your lunches. at the part store. Do you remember the funny story?
No, I'm sure it's something.
It's like, oh god.
All right, you know how every day when you would come to work with your brown bag,
Oh yeah,
packed lunches.
My mom used to eat my lunch. Yeah,
and every day,
yeah.
every day for years.
He just did the Eminem thing. He's like this. Nope, you ain't getting this, dude. I'm throwing it out there.
It was one of the highlights of my life, though, man.
Yeah.
It was hilarious to me.
Here's a funny thing about that. I was too lazy to make my own stuff.
Well,
and
here's the truth.
she volunteered to do it. I was like,
exactly.
I'll probably get made fun of, but well.
And looking back, I mean, yes, I would always give you hell about it every day. But like, oh, your mom's making your lunch. But man, my mom's not making my lunch. Da, 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 you know,
I didn't sell it a bit.
No, you didn't. And I'm like, your mom's making your lunch. Da, 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 da. And I never thought your mom would actually come in the store one day and then rat you out.
I remember that. Oh yeah. Sold me to the.
She did. She sold you right down the river,
yeah.
man.
Oh yeah.
I said, I said something to the, but
And you know Benny's going to go there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna go there.
Of
And
course
she's
he is.
she's in the store, and I'm like, oh, there's my time. I'm gonna laugh, and I said, so Hardy makes his own lunches every day, and she's like,
She's like, hell no.
he does not make his lunch ever. And I
Or his
busted out.
bed or anything else.
I busted out laughing, right? And I was like, oh, you know, because Hardy told me every day that he makes his own lunches. Not convincingly, but he would say, oh, man. But the thing
She
about
turned around and said, yeah, what's so funny about it?
his mom was not happy with me at all. She was
sounds
like,
like
you know, she's got black hair. And at the time, she had black hair.
Yeah.
And I have my granny, she had black hair, and it was, you just don't mess with black haired people. You know what I mean? You don't mess with them because you don't mess with their babies.
Yeah.
Okay. And I knew that. I knew better because if my granny would have been there and someone would have been making fun of me, my granny would have flogged them.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
she would have jumped over the counter and started punching them.
Or nothing.
So I knew better than to do this, but I did not think that his mom would tell him. I thought his mom would be like, hey, you know, and just like leave him, you know, not ever tell me she makes the lunches. And she did. And I had no other choice but to bust out laughing. So, yeah, she was not happy with me. But you were pretty good at it, though, because every day I'd ask you what you're having, and you just rattle it off like, oh, look, here, you know.
Because he didn't know his damn self. He's like this.
He did know. He did know because
It's like, hell, I don't know. I grabbed it walking out the door. I don't know what it is.
But looking back, I'm like, man, I wish I had somebody to make my lunches every day. You know what I mean? Because I definitely would have said yes.
Oh, yeah,
you know what
of
I
course.
mean?
Yeah.
It was just funny.
Yeah.
It
She
was-
asked about you the other day, as a matter of fact.
She did?
What's old Ben doing? So
She's like,
Same
I hope he
stuff.
dies.
Said,
No.
same as always, nothing.
Can't believe he's still alive.
Yeah.
No, she always liked you, man. Always.
Even after that day?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
What
I
you
don't
probably
believe
say
you.
what everybody says about Ben. They're always like, I don't know what Ben does exactly.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
not sure what he does.
He's making money doing something.
He's around.
Podcast.
He's
Yeah.
around, but we don't know what he's doing.
Now, me and Benny have an interesting connection because, first off, we're like the only two Ford guys in this area.
Yeah,
or at least
true.
that will claim it.
Well,
Right.
nowadays, it seems like a lot of people back in the day that hated Fords and were like, oh, I'm Chevrolet. I'm
Right.
Chevrolet. I'm Pontiac.
Yeah,
I'm Dodge.
yeah, yeah,
And now they're driving Fords.
yeah. Of course, he did give me shit when I bought that Firebird.
Gosh.
And then I was like, you're riding a Suzuki motorcycle. At least mine was made in America, sucker.
well, here's the
Okay.
thing. Ford don't make motorcycles. Actually, I bought it.
Ford doesn't make Firebirds either. You know?
I have
But they
to
make
admit,
And at that time, Mustang was putting out about 260 horsepower. Pontiac was putting out 305.
Oh, here we go again.
You know, my aspiration was to have a fast car or a fast-ish car, and to get chicks. And
Yeah.
I did have a fast-ish car. The chicks, not so much, but
Right.
you know, I had that going. So
You had more chicks than you lead
and
on.
he has
You were
an
secretive.
18-year-old son, so you know that was 18 years ago. So don't act like there's.
I'm a
you did-
late bloomer.
Uh-huh.
I'm a late bloomer. You know, things worked out, but it just took a little time.
Well,
Yeah,
I-
and you
I
still have
was-
the Pontiac, don't you?
Yeah,
I do not have the Suzuki, but if I could find it, I would go buy it for real, just so I could have it
So you
back.
get killed on it.
Well, I don't, man. As much as I love to ride those things, I've got a kid. I've got kids, so I can't.
I'm not getting on one.
Yeah, I'm not going to get on one.
No.
But if someone pulled up right now and said, "Hey, go take it for a spin," it would be very hard.
Yep.
Very hard not to do it.
Yep.
Because that's how much I love it.
Right. Yeah, I can understand it.
But as you get older, you got to let some stuff go. That's
I think I'm going through that
dangerous.
midlife thing though, man. I guess mine's midlife been.
So you want to get one?
Because I'm building the car I've always wanted. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
that's a good one to build too, man.
Well, I appreciate it.
A lot of people do that though.
Not very many people are into that car. You know what I'm
What are you
saying?
talking about?
I mean,
Ever since Street Outlaws, everybody loves that car.
well, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So there you go.
Well,
Are
GTOs.
you doing it because of Street Outlaws?
No. I mean,
I know.
That thing supposedly, I thought it was a GTO for forever. You know
Sure.
what I mean? I didn't realize it was Le Mans because not very many people like Le Mans. It's like any other lower or lesser model of a vehicle.
You
like,
put a GTO emblem on it, and ain't nobody gonna know the difference unless they run your VIN.
Well, once I started building it and got to know the vehicle really well and got to know the differences, there's not really very many.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not even that many differences between that and a Chevelle of that same year.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Most of the things interchange.
Oh yeah.
So
sure.
So I don't feel bad about it being Le Mans. I did it first because I like what I wanted was a 70 GTO. I love those cars. I love them.
Yep.
But now I've messed with this one enough that I was going to change it into a 70 GTO until I started working on it. Now I'm like, no, I want what it is. I like it better now for some.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I own it. I'm that guy. Well, it's mine, so it's better.
Well, and if you want to customize it, you wouldn't necessarily want to do that to a GTO numbers matching car.
Yeah.
This one is going to be more custom to.
And I'm not. I'm not a numbers matching guy at all.
No, I'm not either.
I'm the other. You know what I mean? I'm like, I see plenty of cars out there that I'm like, well, that's awesome, dude, but you can't drive it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't use it. You can't do anything but say you have it.
Yep. And those factory hubcaps, they don't look good on it.
Yeah.
Those suck. What about the wheels on that thing, man?
Yeah. I just wanted something that I can drive and that's old, and something that I like to look at. And I'm not even a Pontiac guy necessarily. I'm not against them. Yeah. Yeah. I've even got Pontiac shit everywhere.
Why didn't you drive yours up here? We could have.
He's saving it, Brad.
Taking a picture.
No, I've had to use it for work a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you got it up and going.
Yeah, oh, yeah, it's still going.
I'm shocked it still runs. It's Pontiac.
GM, yeah. That's got 85,000 miles on it now.
Wow.
Yeah, I kept it in the 40s for a long time, but
still 85,000 is nothing. Though.
No, not really. No, but
yeah, you're like one of. I mean, you're like all of a sudden like, hey, I need to just drive this thing,
Yeah. Well, sometimes out of necessity because I always had two vehicles. If one's messed up, I gotta, so that's like the backup, and put a lot of miles.
You still got the NOS on it?
Yeah, I haven't sprayed it in 10 years, probably, maybe longer than that. The last time I sprayed it was out the purge to show off in front of my wife when we were dating.
Oh yeah,
and she was super impressed. Yeah, she was like, what the hell's this?
She's like, are you gonna get that fixed?
Right, yeah. You got a busted radiator, dude. Yeah.
Well, that's funny.
Well, we got the Ford thing, and our other special bonds were both homosexuals.
Yes.
And, and yeah. So you can't skip that. And
Homo hetero.
Right. And I just found out that he's like the only other proud Android user.
Yeah.
Because you get made fun of for that.
I'm a grown man. Well, who's going to make fun of me for that? Who's going to make it? I mean, that's like a dude riding a bicycle making fun of a dude driving down the street in a new car.
Yeah.
I mean, Apple and Android are not even close to being on the same level. Android is way up there. So it's like, all right, you want to make fun of me for, okay, and you're rocking, come on, man. Come on, quit cheaping out. Get a good phone.
He's laying
and I'm
on
talking
thick,
to LJ.
Yeah,
I'm sure
he has absolutely no basis for anything that he's saying right now.
I do. You want to hear it? You want to hear it?
Sure.
When he first bought his phone, he called me and he kept going, I hate this phone. It's brand new iPhone. Spent all this money on it. And then it would hang up. And then he'd have to call me back. And then it'd hang up.
Well, like now when I hold it to my face to talk, if I hold it here, nobody can hear me. You're real muffled. I have to turn it around and talk like that. I've had better luck at Androids all day long. I won't deny that.
See, there's my basis.
But
so how can you sit there and say he don't have any basis for what he's saying? And I have firsthand knowledge of you.
But when it comes to compatibility, though, with a vast amount of things, Apple's there's just more stuff. You know, what I mean?
What?
There's more things.
What's it compatible with?
Like Apple Play on vehicles and stuff. You don't have Android Play on.
I have Android Auto, sir.
On what?
On my phone and in my car.
Yeah.
In that car that you have out there?
You dang right.
Okay, then. Then it's aftermarket of some kind, because that thing's so old it probably has a cassette player in it.
Well, okay. Apple Play is not going to work in a 2000 whatever vehicle. It's not going to work in an old vehicle. It's only going to work in new stuff.
I know you're the one saying it was in your old vehicle though. Your vehicle's what, like a 98 or something like that?
My Expedition?
Yeah.
It's an 07, sir.
Oh, okay.
And so Android Auto, which is way better than Apple CarPlay, but if you don't believe me, just Google it.
How's
no big deal. Huh?
How is it better?
It works better.
In what way?
In every way. It's way more consistent.
There's no way to quantify that. You know what I'm saying? There's no way to. I mean, it's just personal opinion. It's
I'm
like
just saying
else.
It works better.
That's like your opinion, man.
It's your opinion, man. But anyways, you had to start that whole iPhone or Apple versus Android.
I didn't know it was gonna get that heated.
Yeah.
Oof.
It's gonna be pretty heated.
There's no heat on my end.
This is probably gonna be our last podcast ever. He's sitting here saying there's no basis for what he's saying, and then he just spills it right out for me.
I don't brand whore like Ben does though. You know, Ben like picks these brands and he's like a diehard. That's like him liking Tom Brady. He doesn't like a team. He likes a player. Mm-hmm. That's and women do that. You know, if you'll notice, Ben and women are the ones who.
But you touch base on it with Hardy in his bodybuilding and his music, and T Hood and his music.
What
the tenacity,
picking something and sticking with it or whatever. Oh yeah, I'll give you that.
So when you look at Tom Brady and what he's been through and what he came from and what he's done and how he's the best player in the world, best football player in the world by far. So what's not to like about that?
Your ability to stick with homosexuality after all this time, you know, and it's not an easy lifestyle. I got respect for it.
It's
you know
not
what
bad.
I'm saying? I mean, you know, it's not the easiest thing in the world to do, but you stay with it. Hey, I got respect.
I made a good point, and he changes the subject.
Yeah, of course.
Well,
Motel 6.
Yeah, Motel 6, Motel, Hotel, Super 8. Don't go to a Motel 6. Don't stay there. But here's a good tip. If you log on the website of Motel 6, you can get like $5 off. So I would go to the parking lot when I was out in California. I'd go to the parking lot, get my computer out, rent my motel room, and I would save $5 or $6.
If you went now, though, would you not still probably stay in a Motel 6?
No.
Where would you stay?
I've stayed at 1 million hotels since then. 1 million. I mean, I've traveled all over this country.
But if Motel 6 was the cheapest
multiple
one you
times
could find,
a year, I'm, lately I have been home, but usually I'm out traveling, and I've been just about to every state for long periods of time.
Yeah, but
I don't stay at Motel 6s. I stay at the very least, and my favorite is La Quinta. Mm-hmm. That's my favorite. They've revamped a lot of their.
They're pretty pricey though for you.
I don't care. Price is no option.
Oh,
there's no.
Don't start lying.
Well,
I mean, don't bald face a lie to the
When it comes
people.
to that,
when it comes to
there are people that are going to watch and listen to this that know you that are going to know that's a damn lie.
They can cry about it if they want to, but that's not true, you know.
Price is most definitely an option. It's most definitely a priority with you.
Well, I'm not staying at Motel 6s.
Oh, okay.
If it was the biggest priority, I would be staying at Motel 6s because those are the cheapest. Not gonna do it.
Why? Because there's people that proposition you there, or what's the deal? The
Yeah.
walls too thin.
Yeah, walls are too thin. Walls are too thin.
I'll go.
And
with
the
that.
curtain don't cover don't shut the it don't cover the window.
Right.
But if you're dressed in drag, you don't want it to cover the window.
That's
You're
true,
trying to
but
be
I'm
seen.
not.
You want to be seen.
I'm not always dressed in drag, and when I'm trying to sleep, I don't want someone to be able to walk up to my window and look right.
I don't
in.
always dress in drag, but when I do, I go to Motel 6.
Yeah, very true. You'll have that on these these big jobs, as we used to say.
Yep.
So we've touched base on a lot of things, and I know it's getting late, and I know you've got to be back here in the morning, I'm sure, for work. So,
well, I've thoroughly enjoyed this.
Me too.
I just enjoyed seeing you guys. I haven't seen y'all so long.
I'm really glad.
I was thinking, how long has it been since I've seen Hardy?
I don't even know.
And it's like we've never been apart. You know what I mean?
Yep.
All these years.
It's good stuff.
I still love you.
Of course, I love you
Straight
too.
up, no joke.
I know.
It's pure love.
Yeah.
It is. If Hardy called me, and not many people could do this, but if Hardy called me in the middle of the night, which if you do, I'm not going to answer because my phone's on silent.
I was going to say, what would waste his time?
But if you did, if you needed something, he's the dude. I would do anything for you.
I
for
appreciate
real.
that.
I'm
serious.
It's
the same here, man.
And there's a little small amount of people in this world.
Yeah.
A very small amount of people in this world.
I'm honored to be on that list, man.
Yeah, you're on the list. You are not on the list,
I know
LJ.
Why do you think I'm being quiet through this entire thing you guys are doing here?
We got love fest going over here. He just I'm gonna kill both y'all.
No, I'm just like, I knew it.
We probably need to wrap it up. And you got anything to plug?
Yeah, y'all want me to plug something. All right.
You can plug anything you want. Multiple things. If you want to plug five or 10 different things, you go ahead. Go right on ahead.
I've started my YouTube channel back up.
And it's a great channel.
Yeah, thanks.
It's awesome.
I got some old stuff on there that might make you laugh. The 2 cats, 1 hood.
Yes, dude.
It's a must-see video.
If you have a decent sense of humor, if you can hear or see me right now, check out that video.
You can't see because the camera went dead, but we're going to fix our technical difficulties before we do the next podcast.
Yeah.
But the cat video is hilarious. I'm surprised it hasn't went triple platinum.
Yeah.
Viral.
You will not regret it.
Maybe it will after being on this podcast.
Yeah.
Get a little more exposure here now, so we'll see.
So your YouTube channel is what?
It's Oppressive Drummer. One word, 2 P's in Oppressive, and 2 M's in Drummer.
And 2 S's in Oppressive?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
I'm glad you guys aren't giving me a spelling test. Oh, shit, it's too fucking late.
Well, I'm just making sure.
What? I don't know.
I want everybody to go to his channel because you've got some drum videos.
Yeah, I'm doing drum videos now. That's what's, I mean, like I said, I'm doing as much as I can dedicate, like 10, 15 minutes a day or every other day to. And
Do you have any old footage of
I got old stuff.
So you're going to put that on there?
It's already on there.
Do you have any concerts or whatever that you used to do?
No, Submerging Dirt had a YouTube. It's still up.
Oh, okay.
And you can actually find a video of me in Wisconsin when we recorded our album up there, and I was drunk as shit and threw up all over myself. And
that's on video.
Yeah. That's old. That's back from like 08 or 09 or something like that.
Oh man,
awesome.
Yeah.
But 08 or 09, that was just yesterday. Right?
Yeah, it seems that way.
Yeah.
I remember those years very well.
Me too.
I was partying like a motherfucker.
Yeah. Apparently I was too. Yeah.
So oppressive drummer.
Yes.
Your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Go check out the cat video and the rest
Please
of the
do.
videos. Do you have anything else you got?
And keep the drum videos coming, man. Come on now. There's people like me that are subscribed. That
Well, I was going to ask
watch
you if you
that.
want to bring your drums and do something for us here.
Oh, that's too much work, man.
I know. I figured.
I'll hold them things around for years, man. I'm done with that. They're gonna stay in that shop, and I can record right there and do my little cheap videos, and you know.
You have different angles.
I do, and I'll give you a little secret. I film one angle on. Well, I say film. I'm videoing it on my phone. Basically, my wife is sometimes. I either set it up stationary and getting like say the foot pedal work, but I'm doing separate videos and then putting them all, kind of chopping it up and edit it, and then.
That's a bunch of editing.
Yeah, it's fun though.
Yeah,
it's part of the fun for
definitely.
me. But yeah, and I'm
because you're going through a whole set with one camera,
right?
And then you're going through another one.
Yeah,
with
it's
a different
like
angle.
4 angles usually.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, my wife does one overhead. She's actually standing on a big speaker and then like doing this the whole time. So yeah, it's just cheap ass videos I put together, but people seem to like them, and it's fun. It's fun to make.
Yeah,
you know, I'll cover some songs. I've got one I'm about to post. I'm working on right now. Have you heard? It's one. I think it's one of Chester Bennington's last songs he did with somebody. He did a song with the guitar player from Lamb of God. Mark Morton had put out a solo project, and it's a pretty heavy song, but he's singing clean on it, and it's a really, really good song. I'm actually putting that one out in a few days.
Oh, nice.
And hopefully the copyright won't get me on the on YouTube.
You just
If they do, I'll
put it up anyways.
Yeah, well, I think as long as you put that you don't own the rights to the songs.
Yeah, I've gone through that a couple of times
Yeah.
with some of the covers I've put on my YouTube
Right.
channel.
Okay. So you know what I'm talking about. But the good news is I don't have to do that on my old band stuff because I kind of do own the rights to that. So.
Right.
But I just that's something fun to do.
Are you still listening to Cannibal Corpse?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Not as much. I'm into other bands, of course, now, but I'm into that same type of stuff.
Dude, their album covers and album art is awesome.
Pretty graphic.
Dude, I mean,
graphic.
as weird and strange as it is, I get, like, whenever Hastings was still open in Muskogee, when I was working up that way, I would go in there and pick up their albums just to go through the album, just to look at what's on there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just some of the most just insane. Who could think of the things that are on these album covers?
It's pretty scary, the imagination.
But it was like a train wreck, dude. I couldn't look away. You know what I mean? I'm just like,
Yeah.
what? You know, where's the next one? I'm looking for trying to, I've already seen that one.
Right.
You know, pick one up. It's crazy, dude.
That's one thing I liked about the band that I was in. We were a death metal band, but we didn't do the gory stuff or satanic crap or whatever. We did. Our vocalist would write about like conspiracies and political government crap and aliens and just different stuff. So we did a little bit different spin on it, you know.
The Satanism thing to me is kind of, I think that Jack Black and those guys in Tenacious D do a really good job of, like, it's almost cliche.
Oh yeah,
Satanism's gotten to where it's like this.
Yeah.
You know, whenever I listen to Tenacious D, I don't listen to them regularly, but when I do and they're talking about that stuff, it's funny to me how there's people that'll still get hung up on it. You know what I mean? It's almost like marijuana. I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
You know,
it's a totally gimmick
Yeah.
for most of them. I mean, I'm sure there's some people that still believe in that crap, but you know, it's a gimmick and whatever. You know.
Yeah.
And you know, you guys, it's funny. You and Travis were talking a lot about like lyrical content and stuff. I honestly like. I guess what I'm trying to say is, like you were talking about a while ago with this guy that was listening to Christian music, I don't really pay as much attention to lyrics as I probably should. When I do, and I start reading into stuff, especially, I guess you said Travis did 18 albums, right?
Yeah,
That's what
I
he
said 18 or
19.
19.
I was on a couple of them, and I remember one of them I did. He had the sleeve that came out with the lyrics, and I actually started reading lyrics. So I didn't know what he was talking about, and I was like, "Man, this is really good songwriting," you know. But I don't usually listen for that. I just listen to music part of it anyway, and I'm a drummer, and you know.
Well, I'm really eclectic in my taste, dude. I like a little bit of everything.
Sure.
And I know a lot of people say that, but like, I've gone through several stages of my life. You know, I'm going back and listening to old crap that I haven't listened to since the '80s, even here lately.
Yeah.
But and I listen for several different levels or reasons. Like I was talking about in that one podcast where I'm hearing influences from Chuck Berry on solos that were done on the song Highway to Hell. Or you know, there's things like that that's how I can identify maybe with Travis on some level, and I can identify with you on musical levels. You know, same reason. The artistry or the ability that it takes to do that type of music. You know, I mean, I started in, and I don't want to like equate anything to anything else, but like old Metallica stuff to me, the amount of work it would take to be that tight. You know, and I know a lot of that's recordings, but then you watch them play live and they're just as tight.
Sounds just
so. And the style of music that you prefer, that I can appreciate it from the standpoint of I've played music before and I know how hard it is to be that on. You know, so
like I said, metal is like my go-to, but I like a little bit of everything too. Not so much a country fan, which. I'm about the only person that doesn't like country, especially where I live now. I don't wear camo, I don't hunt, and I don't listen to country, so I do not fit in down there at all. I lift weights. Either. Okay, well, you're about the only one, but nothing against that. I'm friends with everybody down there, but I'd stick out like a sore thumb down there because I lift weights and listen to heavy metal and stuff. So, but I listen to some rock, rap, even some pop, but I'm more choosy with it. The less commercial it is, and the more substance and maybe technicality it's got to it, I'm a bigger fan of that. So
did you ever write any songs?
No, there was one in Submerging Dirt where we had this idea. The guitar player, one of the writers, Royce, he said, "Hey, write out a drum part and structure it, and we're just going to put music to it." It was one on our album, and it turned out pretty good actually. But I had parts in there where I was just I don't know how to play guitar, but I'm just thinking of maybe patterns. I guess you could say different patterns, and I was even trying to do like more of a funk or a jazzy beat. Not that I'm really that fluent in that style, but even put that into it. And then I was curious to see what they would put to it. It made it a little more dynamic.
What song's that called? What's that song?
Let's see. Things best left unsaid. Yeah,
that's cool.
Can you find is Submerging Dirt? Are they on Spotify?
I don't think so. We were on iTunes. That album was In the Grip of the Machine. Problem is with that one is we were under the influence that the production quality was going to be pretty good. Turned out to be shit.
Really?
Yeah, we were kind of, I'm not going to say we were conned into something, but let's just say that we were expecting a much better quality product than what we ended up with. So sound quality is not super good, at least what we were up to the expectations of. But
right.
It's still worth a listen. It's the music's there, Anybody would be interested in checking it out. That came out in 2010, but it actually recorded like 2008. That's another thing too. It took forever, and I don't think the guy even the guitars, bass, vocals were mixed pretty well. I don't think he mixed the drums, so I got a big problem with that.
Really,
you can't even tell half the crap that I'm playing.
Dude, that sucks because
man,
that's the thing about a song to me is if the drums aren't done right, it screws the entire thing to me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, even people that don't listen for drums, and I tend to break songs down and listen to each instrument. I mean, not every song I hear, but I mean, I tend to pay really close attention to drums and to bass parts.
Yeah.
Because I have a lot of respect for those instruments.
You're a rhythm guy, man.
Yeah. So for me, if the drums are mixed wrong, or if they're engineered, but whoever's doing the engineering on it does it wrong.
Yeah.
Oh God, dude.
I really do think this guy just gave a dry mix and just was like, here.
That sucks
it's
bad.
Terrible. Yeah, it's terrible because I consider that was my real, I guess, last work I did that I'm really proud of. Is like my life's work. The 15 or so years culminated in this, the most technical stuff I'd played. And again, my style, it could be over the top and it fit the music. And then you can't really hear everything I'm doing. And just like, it's frustrating.
But see, that's what's good about the videos you're putting out now, though, is the focus is more on your ability, and that's the enjoyable thing from a musician standpoint. I know watching someone else play their instrument.
Well, that was one of the first ideas I had was I wanted to go back and redo some of those songs that we had done. Because maybe you can't hear everything that's going on there, but you could at least see it on that video. So I could layer that on top of that, that audio track, and you could see what I'm doing. I'm like, well, he's rolling double bass there, and he's doing a blast beat there, but I can't really hear it there, but I can at least see it there. It's in time. So, it's not that I have anything to prove, but it's kind of like a little bit redeeming, It's like I'm getting a little bit of, just redemption from it, I guess you could say.
Well, to me, unsung heroes are drummers in a lot of respect. I mean, the drums get a lot of attention in any band or in music in general, but I just mean some of the things, just like things that you were doing or things I've seen you do whenever you were playing drums and that kind of thing. It's easy to sometimes overlook all the things.
Yes.
I remember you having a lot of toms and a lot of cymbals and things like that, and you were incorporating them at all times. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was one of my goals. Yes.
And dude, it stuck with me. Obviously,
That's great, man. I appreciate that.
It's one of those things where you just go. I've seen people with these huge kits, and it's for looks. You know what I'm saying? Where they just, well, I play drums, so I got a lot of drums here.
I hate that.
But you're at some point or another, you're making contact with everything you got.
Yeah.
And it's just like, dude, I nothing but respect.
Thanks, man.
I'm telling you, that shit is like, it's someone who can play well. I mean, a lot of people can keep a beat. And I've said this already, but there's a lot of people out there that can drive out a little beat or something like that. But somebody that can make that stuff work, you know what I mean? And there's people that play like what you're calling over the top, though. I've heard people sit there and Robert Ott is who I was trying to think of earlier.
Yeah.
Really good jazz drummer, on just a standard kit or whatever, and he can play really well. But I don't see him. Maybe I'd be wrong if he had a different setup, but I don't see him being able to incorporate everything in a way that makes sense in the way that you would. You know what I'm saying?
I figure if he gave himself the opportunity to do that, he probably could.
Maybe so. He's pretty good. I mean, he was one of those people that's technically minded as far as he was trying to develop his abilities and that kind of thing like that.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of guys that are just out there just,
I mean, playing a big kit like that and using everything doesn't necessarily make you a more technical drummer or anything, but it's cool, It's fun to listen to. Well, I like it.
There were a lot of sounds that you had coming out of your stuff that I had never really, especially at that time, I hadn't listened to a lot of heavier stuff, like really heavy stuff, So there were styles and nuances that you were putting in there that I hadn't heard. You know what I mean? I mean, a lot of those, I don't know what you would call them. I'm not much of a drummer at all, but the really thin toms that you had or whatever. I don't know what you call those things necessarily, but a lot of those higher sounds that you hear in the heavier stuff that, dude, I hadn't heard that.
I guess a little octobon, that little bitty one.
Yeah.
I don't always have that on there, but if I'm playing stuff from my old band where I used to incorporate that, because you're absolutely right. If I'm covering a song like I did one of Lamb of God not too long ago, and that guy don't use that, so I took it off because it's just, if it's not going to be used, there's no reason to have it there for show.
Yeah.
I'm a little anal about that as far as that goes.
Well, that's kind of what my point is. I mean, it speaks to your ability for you to be able to use that stuff in a way that makes sense. Like I said, I've seen people jumble it up, and people are just hitting stuff just to hit it and all that kind of thing like that. But
I'm actually going to do a video of some lighter stuff. I say lighter stuff. It'd be like more rock, but songs I really enjoy listening to and playing. And I got another kit at the house, and I'll probably just throw together a smaller setup for that, because there's no need in having all that stuff. So I'll downsize for maybe a few coming up, it just makes it a little more simpler because again, if I'm covering a song and I'm having to play to the original track, I've got to at least get close to every single note the guy's playing. And I find it difficult because they have a different style of playing, so, it's like you cover a song, and let's say you're playing your acoustic, you can throw your own little nuances in there or whatever, and maybe not put as many of that original songwriter's stuff in there. But still, it sounds great. But I can't necessarily do that with the setup I've got right now because I'm playing the original track.
Yeah.
In fact, my wife's been talking to me about, you need to just get some recording stuff, and you need to cover like a rap song or something, do your own beat to it or something. I said, well, that'd be great, but I mean, there's other stuff we need to buy,
Yeah. Well, it's weird.
I'm dad. I need, we need other stuff, a lawnmower or whatever,
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. I watch a lot of, or I say a lot. Occasionally I'll watch, and maybe it's because I'm subscribed to your channel, but there'll be some of those, there'll be like some young kids or something like that. And invariably somebody's covering Killing in the Name of, and some people will put their own thing to it, and it's cool. And then some people will put it to it, and you're like, why didn't you just stay? Why didn't you just play it exactly if you're gonna do that? Or whatever.
Right.
And I didn't know that I even paid that much attention to it until I started watching some of those videos.
That's cool.
I mean, I'm not sitting around critiquing your videos. I'm not sitting there going, why did he do that?
That's fine with me.
Hardy, what the hell? What are you doing? You know what I mean? I mean, I'm more enjoying it than I am.
Sure.
I'm not sitting there going, what all is he doing wrong here?
Yeah, right.
For one thing, I don't like to critique shit that I can't do.
Well, that's what I'm doing, though. I'm editing it going, okay, did I miss a stick hit there? I'm going to use a different angle for this part because I might have just messed up just a little bit or something. So believe me, I'm doing all the critiquing. Yeah. Believe me, I'm hard on myself. And again, practicing, 10, 15 minutes a day, every other day. It's not like in the old days when I would spend hours and hours. Yeah. Those hours and hours are dedicated to training in the gym now, and then afterwards I'll do that for a little cardio. It kind of killed two birds with one stone, but I just don't have the time to dedicate that. And I've got to say, I had a lot of people. I say a lot. A few of my old buddies that played music, and they want to. They see me playing, and they're like, "Oh, we got to get into a band. We got to play together." I'm like, "Well, man, I just don't have time for it." And I hate to say that. It's kind of an excuse, but it's really the truth. I don't know. I don't want to be full time at anything right now.
Yeah, that's way. My wife's been after me to play, go out and play some gigs and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I'm just like, man, I don't really want to dedicate myself to something, I mean, and I've done that some, and I really enjoyed it when I was younger, but I don't enjoy the attention really that it brings anymore. I don't know if I'm getting old or whatever.
I can see that.
I mean, it's I at my age, getting out playing like little acoustic shows and stuff like that, I almost feel kind of silly. You know what I mean? I kind of feel like, you know, really, you know,
well,
really 40-year-old guy. You know,
I'm there with you, man, because I actually pulled up in the parking lot a while ago and I had my hat on backwards. I have a hat on every once in a while. I'm just going, man, I'm almost 40, dude. I feel silly. I took it off. I ain't gonna get in this video and have a hat on back. It look like some, you know, like I'm trying to be that cool old guy. You know, come on.
You're not old.
no,
I'm working on it.
You, LJ, are old.
You get no argument out of me, dude. It's getting ridiculous.
Oh man, I hear you on the attention thing. You know, not that I'm this huge guy or anything, but you know, like especially when I went on vacation last week or the week before. Well, even now, you know, I'll go into a restaurant or something. I don't know anybody, and just like immediately, dudes are looking at me like they've got the guard up or something. You know what I mean? I just get that, you know. And you've always been a pretty good sized guy. You can be intimidating looking, so you probably get the same thing. I never got that because that's some little dude, but I get that now, and I'm just thinking, just why would you automatically just, you know, think that I'm going to come in and be, you know? I get that. I just get that feeling. Maybe it's not the case, but. It just looks like they're getting their guard up, like, you better watch that guy, you know?
I get that.
I usually smile at them.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, okay, he's normal. Well, yeah, of course
I get that
am.
till somebody has me say like 5 words, and you can see it come over their face. They're like, oh, he's one of those big guys. Yeah. He's a big teddy bear guy.
Right,
you know?
yeah.
Because
exactly.
when I was a CNA, I had a lady, she was like, I can't believe how gentle you are with people. You know, I was like, well, what did you expect? You know, and she's like, well, you're a big guy. I thought you'd be rough throwing them around and all that. And I was like, well, now that you know me, what do you think? She's like, oh, no, I can see where I am. I could see you probably crying and holding somebody's hand. I'm like, hey, what the fuck? You know, but
yeah. It's funny, too, because
she got it right.
I'll get that, yeah. I'll get that from people sometimes or guys or whatever, and I'm just thinking, I'm in my head, I'm still like that tiny 5'7" guy.
Yeah.
Right? And this guy stands up, he's 6'5". I'm like, what are you looking at me like that for? Yeah. Am I going to bite your ankles or something? What the hell, man? You know? So
that's what I've always said this, dude. I'm like a small guy trapped in this big body, you know, because I've always wanted to be everything other than what I am, you know.
Yeah.
I'd like to be able to run a long ways, and I wish I was smaller.
That's a story of my life, man.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to be something I wasn't.
Yeah, I feel kind of trapped a little bit. I don't want to beat anybody up or intimidate anybody or any of that. I don't give a damn about being imposing on somebody.
No,
you know, I'm kind of the opposite.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not with that tough guy crap. You know?
Yeah. Sometimes I think I maybe go out of my way. You know, I'm like, oh, how you doing? You know, and people are like, oh, this guy's a big gay guy. Okay. You know? I'm like, oh, I overshot. You know, oops,
right.
Whatever. But,
reel it in just a little.
nah.
Oh man. So you need to tell your mom I said hi.
I will. I'm
glad she asked about me because this whole time I thought maybe I ruined it that day.
No, not a bit. Not a bit.
Oh, Hardy, thank God. I'm glad you said that. Okay, just so my dad will shut up. Is the Galaxy for sale?
No.
Okay, thank you for saying
Is he talking about the car we were just talking about earlier?
Yeah.
That is my Uncle Bub's old car.
Yeah, it
Oh,
is.
really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
we were just talking. It's probably the only car out of his family that ever made it in somebody else's possession.
Yeah.
I don't know how that even happened. My dad bought that one. I think it was 1978 because I came around in 80, and then he gave me that car when I was 2 in 82. So that's been mine ever since. You know how it is, man. When you're low on resources and you're low on time, things go by the wayside. But I will have that car up and going and hopefully get restored pretty soon.
That's cool. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
My dad asked me all the time. He's like, you ever seen that red car out there on 6 Mile? And I was like, I know whose car it is. It's not going nowhere.
Yeah.
He's like, well, just ask for me. Because whenever I told him that you were going to be on, he was like, hit him up about that car. I'm like, yeah. I said, yeah, I'll waste my time. I will, just so you leave me alone about it.
I appreciate it, but tell him one thing. Make sure he knows it's not going to rust to the ground.
No, yeah, that's his
something
biggest
will.
worry about any
I
older
know.
vehicle.
I'm with it. Yeah.
He's like, oh, man, I'd really like to have that. I was like, you don't even own Fords, Dad. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what are you talking about? But,
yeah, it's been sitting out there since then. That long?
Well, it was out of the Veterans Colony. We used to live at the Veterans Colony, and I've got pictures of me sitting on the trunk when I'm like 2 or 3
Really?
or whatever.
When did y'all move out there on 6 Mile Lane?
91.
91.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, because we rode the bus together for ever.
Yep.
You know, so.
Yep.
Oh, Harley was our bus.
Al
driver.
Harley.
Yeah, Al Harley.
Yep.
And then first it was Glenn. Glenn
Kendrick?
Yes, Glenn
Kendrick.
Kendrick.
Yeah, he was my bus driver.
Bus number 2.
Yeah.
And then Al Harley. And then we had Mr. Phelps.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Ronald Phelps.
Ron Phelps.
Yeah.
Ronald. I know Ronald Phelps.
We had good we had good times on the bus, man.
Oh, yeah.
The reason why I got lucky because I was the last person to get on the bus to come to school. Yep. So I got to get on the bus like at 7:50, 7:55.
Why did you even ride the bus? I don't understand this.
What do you mean? Well,
was
I gonna walk?
Yeah. You live like over the hill.
Benny Klein ain't walking nowhere.
No.
Yeah.
I had a bunch of brothers and sisters that was riding with me too, you know. So
Yeah.
But yeah, we had good times on the bus.
And Talina had that sweet fox body.
Yeah.
Like it was blue, wasn't it?
Yeah, dark blue. Dark blue.
I want to know one thing. How did you never end up with a Mustang? You never drove a Mustang?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I've still got my eyes on
go
one.
ahead and tell him why you don't. Because if they didn't cost $50,000, he doesn't want one.
Yeah, sure. I understand.
You know what I mean?
No, the one I want was the MSRP. Okay, it was like 70, and then they put on I think 35 on them, so they were around $100 and something thousand. Yeah, the 2000 the GT350Rs. No, I don't want just a regular Shelby GT350.
No.
I want the R model, you know.
Right.
And now they've got the GT500 coming out in what? I don't know, a couple months or whatever. So, and we've got a ball tournament next weekend, and I'm gonna miss the Shelby meet in Tulsa. Unless there's a way that I can make it happen, because they're gonna have it. They're gonna have that new Shelby there. That 2020.
Listen
They're gonna
to
have
what
it
I
there.
say to
So
you.
I want to go look at it.
If you don't get a car that you want soon, you're going to get so old it's going to be embarrassing for you to have it.
To drive it, I know.
Okay.
I know. I'm wanting this because
Yeah.
Or you'll get so old you won't drive it. You know what I mean?
I've been driving the same vehicle since 2008. I mean, I bought my Expedition right after it came out.
Yeah.
And it's real old.
No, it looks good. I treat it good. It's a Ford, man. It'll go forever.
It'll last
I'm like,
you a while.
man, when's this thing gonna just totally break down so I can, have an excuse to go buy a new one?
Yeah.
And then I'm
what all
like,
have you replaced on it?
just the air conditioner and fuel pump.
Dude, you remember when the battery used to go dead all the time? We'd get done playing basketball.
Yeah, because I would leave the battery on. Like I'd pull up or whatever, and I'd leave the key on, and we'd come out. It just happened once or twice.
What? At least 5 times that I can remember, dude.
Once or twice. But anyway,
I had jumper cables, thank God.
It takes a lot of juice to start that thing.
Does it?
A lot.
And we'd be trying to go to Pizza Hut to go bullshit. And instead, we'd be out there charging up Benny's battery for 2 hours.
We still had time to go to Pizza Hut.
Will it start yet? Click, 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 click. No, damn.
Crappy batteries, man. What I was putting in them. No,
But I was driving a Ford at the time. My work truck was a Ford. So.
Yeah, it was. But I've had the same vehicles this whole time. Just like
It still looks good.
just like old Papa Duke. That's what he did.
Of course he did, yeah.
Except he had 50 of them.
Yep.
Sitting around. I'll just have one. You know. I mean, I still have my blue and white, and I have a '69 Cougar that
You're never going to build, yeah.
I want to. I do want to.
I want to too, but you know what I'm doing? I'm building it, okay?
Is that a 351 Windsor?
Yeah. That wouldn't go back in it.
What do you want to do?
I don't know. I'd probably a stroker.
427.
I would love to. The Eliminators have the 428s.
Right.
Cobra
Right.
Jets.
Right.
I would love to do
428,
that,
that's what
but
I was thinking
I think they changed the strut towers for those. So I don't know. I mean,
I know a guy who has one, actually, one of those Cobra Jet motors. He was trying to sell it to me yesterday, matter of fact.
where?
Huh?
Where?
In Wilburton?
Who?
Ronnie Wynn?
How much?
Oh,
He didn't say how much. I don't know. Said he's got one, though.
Find out.
Did he take it out of that Torino that he used to have?
No, he bought this somewhere else. don't know where he got it at. Maybe he did. Hell, I don't know.
Yeah,
He's owned so many different vehicles.
Does he still have his baby?
He's got it. No, he's got a. What did he tell me he's got now? Barracuda now.
Oh,
that he's babying around. He's wanting to make a drag car out of it.
What did he have before?
He had a Torino.
Yeah.
It was
okay.
a 70.
Yeah, I think he sold that to Dual Rolling.
Probably. Yeah, they're big buddies.
Yeah.
I remember that car. Dude, I'd never even been around a Torino before. I had seen him, but I didn't know anything about him. He come pulling in. I was like, what is this old car? I've never seen a car like this before. I didn't know anything about him. I'm not a Ford. My family doesn't do Fords, so.
Right. Most people don't.
I'm not going to put your family down.
Well, I mean,
I'll leave them alone.
When it comes to aesthetics,
I'm just kidding.
The Chevrolets are going to win every time.
Does your mom know about this podcast yet?
Yeah. They don't watch it.
Thank God. Because I want them to like me still.
They know that I'm going to say
not that I'm
some
saying
of those
anything.
4-letter words that they don't like.
Not that I'm saying anything, bad about you. Well, I guess I'm giving you hell a little bit. I better stop because you're their baby.
They don't give a damn what you do.
I don't want them to get mad at me like Hardy's mom did that day. She didn't act like she was mad, really, but I could tell. I needed to stop. I needed to stop.
I wish
I was warning.
Hey, dude, my mom's not the kind. My mom doesn't make my lunch. She never would. You know what I mean? She'd be like, "There's food in there. Make it your own."
Yes.
Yep.
I kind of wish my mom had told me that too.
No way, dude.
No.
It doesn't pay off.
You had it made, man. You had it made. Nothing wrong with that. At the time, I just wanted to laugh about it and give you hell. And
I don't blame you.
But you had it made.
I don't blame
you. You had it made.
And now what did you do? You made an enemy out of all that.
I know. Well, his mom asked about me, so maybe.
No, she's totally cool.
She was probably hoping you'd die.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Secretly, she was like,
"So Ben's still alive?
Oh,
damn!
Dang it! When's that dude gonna die?"
Yeah.
He had a Suzuki motorcycle.
Yeah.
That went real fast. He lived through 2 wrecks. People are wondering. I'm sure a lot of people are wondering how I'm still alive.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
And the way I used to treat that blue and white truck, man, and the things I've done in it that a lot of people don't even know about. And then the motorcycle, I totaled it out. Wrecked it twice.
Yep.
Broke my collarbone straight into the freaking ditch at 60 miles an hour.
And you can have people smoking pot around him and not get high.
Yeah,
That's the biggest
Super
lie.
power.
Exactly.
It's like Bill Clinton shit right there.
Impressive drummer on YouTube.
Yes.
What do you got to plug?
My YouTube channel.
Okay, you can search for his YouTube. I got to go through this again.
It's for people who like to dress like a baby.
Lucas Johnson, and then put in Luke Combs, all in the search bar, and you'll find his channel. This episode is brought to you by Blackline Insurance Group. Go to blacklineinsurancegroup.com and get some good insurance. I happen to own that business, and I know I cut up a lot on here, but I'm very professional when it comes to it.
And you can go to my nipples if you want to find Blackline Insurance Group. Okay.
I've been there. It's a great place.
That you can. That you can. But seriously, give me a call. Go to the website. Email me. Text me. If you need some insurance, let me know. For real. I will do all I can.
I've been trying.
I'll make it easy.
Been trying since your business has been open. You will not give me insurance.
Well, he's lying. Don't listen to him. That's the last thing I need for people to believe you.
They know they've been listening to me long enough now. Nobody believes the damn thing I say.
Yeah.
I don't blame them.
I don't either. All right. Well, James, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, you guys both do a good job, and I hope to be hearing more podcasts from you.
We want you to come back, but
Okay.
first and foremost, I want to thank you in person
For
being one of our biggest fans. Sharing our stuff,
Yeah,
liking,
seriously.
commenting, everything. With social media, the commenting, the engaging is what helps a lot.
Yeah.
And we greatly appreciate
when I
it.
first found out you guys were doing this, I'm like, I love podcasts. I love those dudes. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
And you haven't disappointed yet.
Thank you so much.
You have not
man.
disappointed.
Are you going to
Really
listen to
appreciate
yours?
it.
Yeah, even though I
Okay.
don't like the sound of my voice, I'm definitely listening.
Because T. Hood said he was not going to listen.
He did, yeah.
But
And
I'm
I
sure-
believe him.
Oh, yeah.
I believe him.
Too.
Dude, at the day after we got it all the way out, it was even out on YouTube. I saw him in Wilburton, so I pulled up beside him, and I was listening to it.
Yeah.
Like as I pulled up, I said, "Man, I was just listening to you talk." I was like, "Have you listened to it yet?" He's like, "Nah, not yet." You know what I mean? He's
It's
like
not
not
gonna
interested in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What
Yeah.
the hell, dude?
No, I even tagged him in the Facebook post, and he didn't even like it.
Now, he probably hadn't been on Facebook.
Well,
No.
that's another thing I was
like me
thinking.
saying he's old school and him being like, "Oh, not really." That's a damn.
Wait a
lie.
minute.
So-
you got to have an email to have Facebook. How does he have a Facebook?
His wife.
His
Dude,
wife.
his wife.
Oh, okay.
She used to email me.
He's probably gonna like it in about 2 years when he finally checks his Facebook. He'll be like, "Oh yeah, okay." Like
when we were writing those scripts that we talked about on the podcast,
Yeah.
when we were doing all that stuff back and forth, he would send me drafts of them, email them to me with Sherry's email address.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And he doesn't have one, dude. You know.
I guess he just doesn't realize how easy it is to just have an email.
Yeah.
I mean, you could even just make
He's
up
like
everything.
you with
behind
drinking
it.
and smoking pot. It's just it's an odd thing to do, and so that's why he does it. You know?
Oh, okay. Is that weird? Is it another thing to do, not drink and smoke pot?
Yes.
Oh, dang.
And you only do it because you haven't done it to this point. It's just like watching Tombstone. Just fucking watch Tombstone. Just fucking watch Tombstone. And you can edit that out if you want. But just fucking do it.
I'm not editing it out. And the other day I asked Kason, I was like, Kason, you want to watch Tombstone with me? And he's like, no. I was like, oh man, I was really thinking that's going to be the movie we're going to watch tonight. And I don't know. Why am I waiting? Because I love all of them.
It's
I
just like the
especially
marijuana
love
business.
Kurt Russell.
You're not going to do it. You're not going to watch it.
Yes, I am.
It's just so you can say you haven't seen it. You're like, no, I haven't seen that movie. Just saying.
But that's a good shout out to Ed, my buddy Ed. He's banned from Facebook right now, but he's on the beach in Florida.
Makes sense.
I love Ed.
I don't know Ed that well.
I would love to have him on the podcast.
I can tell he's got a good sense of humor, though.
Very good sense of humor, and he's an artist. Man, he can draw.
He
dude.
damn sure is that. I'll give him
I'm gonna
that.
have him draw something for you and me, like for our maybe a logo or maybe our faces or something,
That'd be
and
great.
whatever. But anyways, Oppressive Drummer on YouTube.
Yes.
My nipples.
Lucas Johnson, Luke Combs in the search bar on YouTube.
I've got to subscribe to that one. I've got the podcast, but I didn't know about that. So
Well, the Luke Combs shit is too
Well,
much.
it's the easiest way to find you.
I know. I hate it. That's what. It's my problem, not yours. It's my fault.
Yeah, it is yours.
I don't
because
tag
you're
shit right.
old on YouTube. Blackline Insurance Group,
sounds like I need to switch over.
commercial, business, home, auto, all of it. Anything, just about anything. I can't say. I want to say anything and everything. I want to be your one-stop shop. BlacklineInsuranceGroup.com.
All right, I'm sold.
I'm hard. Have yourself a great day.
Love your body.